Chapter 85. In the blink of an eye, almost a week had passed. Outside the trial steel, everyone woke up from their meditation contentedly. Although it was only a short week, it was better than cultivating outside for 2 months. They came here for 2 reasons. Other than obtaining martial arts, the other reason was to take advantage of this opportunity to cultivate. With such dense spiritual energy, they naturally could not let it go. Some cultivators had broken through here, which was enough to see that the spiritual energy density was too much of a benefit. But now that they were about to go out, the most important person had not woken up. That person was Tianyun. This made them very shocked. Tianyun had not woken up from his enlightenment and was still shrouded in this light. He had been comprehending for so long, an entire week. The others could come out in less than a quarter of an hour. There was originally nothing inside, just a large pile of stone steels. Then, they could come out by relying on luck. It was quite fast. But now, Tianyun had stayed inside for a week, which made them dumbfounded. They should say that he was a weirdo. I have already woken up from my seclusion, why is he still comprehending? Could it be that he has been choosing martial arts inside and hesitating? It is really possible, but this is not worth it. Is it that difficult for him to choose martial arts? What a joke, this is not worth it at all. If this continues, when the door closes, he will be a fool and unable to get out. The other cultivators laughed. They felt that Tianyun was a fool. He had been choosing for so long and had missed the opportunity to cultivate. This was such a good cultivation environment, but he did not come out. Instead, he chose martial arts inside. Wasn't he a fool? This was their general thought, including Qin Shui and the others. They all thought that Tianyun was choosing martial arts inside. All along, many people did not know what martial arts were inside. They did not know that as long as they could break the maze, they could enter the trial. After all, those who failed had already become idiots or died. If they succeeded, they would not have been qualified to enter. This control would have long been taken by others. It's almost time to prepare. Everyone inside, come out. The door is about to close. A shout came from outside the door. They couldn't come in, but their voices could still pass in. Tianyun's situation was very strange, but they didn't want to stay here any longer. When the time came, they would have to wait for 3 years before they could leave. With their abilities, they wouldn't be able to hold on for 3 years. Let alone 3 years, they would die here in a year. For the time being, they couldn't survive by just absorbing spiritual energy without eating or drinking. Such a situation could only be achieved by reaching a higher cultivation base. Senior sister, we are about to go out. Why hasn't Elder E woken up yet? Did something happen? And Ling was very anxious. They were about to go out, but their elder still hadn't woken up. Qin Shui frowned and said, I don't know about this, but looking at Elder Yi's situation, he might have really entered a strange state, or he's stuck inside. It's impossible for us to break this light. Now we can only go out and tell Great Elder, we can't stay here. The light from Trial Stone Tablet is not something they can break at all. They can only choose to leave, otherwise they will be locked up here. Jade Palace will lose even more. There were 7 disciples here, and all of them were talented disciples. This is not heartless, but it's useless to stay here. They finally looked at Tianyun and quickly went out. While going out, they were also vigilant of other sect disciples, whether they will attack them. It turns out that it's superfluous, not to mention that Jade Palace is now in an uproar, saying that Jade Palace is super strong, no one dares to provoke them. Moreover, they all obtained human-level martial art, there is no need to take risks to rob it. When they just went out, a disciple of Hua Tian sect immediately reported to Sect Master Hua Huan. Sect Master, Liang Feng was killed by Tianyun. What? Sect Master Hua Huan was startled, and immediately his eyes burst with killing intent. What happened? Great Elder hurriedly came over, and his heart sank. Sure enough, Tianyun made trouble again. Sect Master Hua Huan, you can't blame our people. Your disciple said that he wants to have a life and death duel with our junior brother. Junior brother agreed, and then this situation happened. Qin Shui stood up and said, this matter, many people saw, including the disciples of other sects, they heard it and saw it. Life and death duel? Life and death has nothing to do with sect. Sect Master Hua Huan frowned. Liang Feng is the disciple they focus on training, and he died just like that. It's a waste of resources. Is that so? Sect Master Hua Huan looked at his disciple and said, Yes, speak louder. Sect Master Hua Huan stared at his disciple coldly and said, The disciple began to shout, Waste. Since it's a life and death duel, Liang Feng died. That means he is incompetent. Sect Master Hua Huan slapped the disciple, and at the same time said coldly, Apologize to Jade Palace's great elder. Sect Master? The disciple hurriedly climbed up, covered his swollen face, and said to Great Elder, I'm sorry, it's all our senior brother's fault. This has nothing to do with your disciple. I'm sorry, Great Elder Mou. Sect Master Hua Huan apologized. It's okay. Great Elder replied indifferently. She knows that Sect Master Hua Huan just doesn't want to provoke Jade Palace. If it wasn't for Jade Palace suppressing 3 major forces recently, Sect Master Hua Huan would never have such a good attitude. Immediately, Sect Master Hua Huan turned back to his position and began to count the martial arts he obtained. His eyes were full of killing intent. He endured his anger. No matter who was wrong, the disciple he painstakingly trained was killed. How can he not be angry? What's the situation? Where is Elder Yi? Great Elder looked up and found that the troublemaker is not here. Elder Yi? He is still meditating in the trial stone tablet. It's been almost a week, and he still hasn't comprehended anything. Qin Shui said worriedly, If this continues, the gate will close. What did you say? Great Elder was shocked. Elder Yi hasn't woken up since he started meditating. This disciple suspects that he is trapped inside. Qin Shui said again, What the hell is going on? It doesn't make sense. Is he always choosing martial arts? Great Elder frowned, but that's not right. Although those martial arts are good, it's not worth wasting so much time to choose. Is he really trapped inside? If he is really trapped inside, then it will be troublesome. There is less than a day left. If this continues, the gate will close, and the next time will be 3 years later. Chapter 86. Heaven's immersing ancient ruins can only be opened for a week at most. This is not their regulation. The concentration of spiritual power inside is so high, they can't wait for all disciples to stay inside for a while. However, this was not something they could manage. After a week, the door would automatically close. As for why this will happen, they are not very clear. Anyway, at most a week after the time limit, the door will close. So if this continues, Yi Tianyun will be locked inside, and many people gloated over his misfortune. Among them, Sect Master Hua Huan can't wait for Yi Tianyun to not come out, so he is trapped inside. The situation outside is that this disciple of Jade Palace is too stupid. He is still choosing martial arts. It has been a long time since such an idiot appeared. When it was first opened, there might still be such a situation where one stayed inside and did not come out. After many years, it has not appeared, unless he died inside, otherwise he will come out. If Yi Tianyun is trapped inside, it is equivalent to a big joke in Jade Palace. A disciple is too greedy, choosing martial arts for too long, leading to death inside. Yi Tianyun continued to comprehend the Xian Tian divine art. To be precise, he didn't comprehend the Xian Tian divine art, but he copied the content of the Xian Tian divine art into the system. The system is frantically reading the data above, but this heaven-level martial art is really not simple, so the reading speed is too slow. I didn't expect the appraisal eye to have this effect, but the speed is a bit slow. The appraisal eye can brand any martial arts into the mind. As long as it is branded in the mind, it is equivalent to directly learning it. But the speed is a bit slow, the data is read bit by bit, it can only be said that the level is too low. Although it can be upgraded, but it needs 50,000 crazy point, it is not enough, he can only do it step by step. Finally, it took a lot of time to copy all the martial arts. Ding, successfully cultivated Xian Tian divine art, missing version. At this time, there is one more Xian Tian divine art, there is no conflict, it is like equipping it, there is no difficulty at all. Old Xian, this junior has successfully cultivated it. Yi Tianyun stood up and smiled. Succeeded? So fast? Elder Xian was stunned. He felt that only a week was a very short period of time. The Xian Tian divine art was so profound that it was impossible to cultivate it to the end in one go. Furthermore, each level corresponded to a different level of cultivation, so there was no need for the later levels. If one's cultivation wasn't high enough, one wouldn't be able to use it. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly and said, "Yes, I have already mastered the second level." "You mastered the second level so quickly?" Elder Xian's eyes widened. To be able to learn the second level in a short week, he estimated that he would need at least a month to master the second level. "Yes, I've already learned the second level," Yi Tianyun said with certainty. Elder Xian was silent for a moment before he solemnly said, "Then show it to me." He had to confirm it. Yi Tianyun nodded and quickly activated the Xian Tian divine art. Immediately, a layer of strange energy appeared on his body and covered his body like a crystal. After a while, it looked like an invisible armor covering his body. It looked a little transparent, but it released an indestructible aura that made him feel very at ease. It was a feeling that no one could hurt him if he released it. Of course, the Xian Tian divine art was not limited to this. Under this layer of armor, the power of an attack was also greatly increased. After all, it was equivalent to forming an indestructible shield with spiritual power. It was also very painful to hit someone. After looking at it for a while, Elder Xian finally believed that Yi Tianyun had really learned it. He immediately laughed and said, "You have indeed comprehended the second level. It seems that your comprehension is quite high. It only took you a week to complete it." "I just put in a little more effort." Yi Tianyun smiled faintly and humbly. "Don't be modest. Based on your previous strength, you were stronger than Master when he was young. It is normal for you to have such comprehension." Elder Xian smiled and said, "Since there is no problem, this Xian Tian divine art is yours. I will impart it to you later and brand it in your memory. Practice it well from now on." Elder Xian pointed at Yi Tianyun's forehead, and a light poured into Yi Tianyun's head. Yi Tianyun immediately felt that there was an extra martial art in his memory. But he had to slowly memorize it to be able to fully memorize it. But he had already memorized all of it before, so there was no need for Elder Xian to do so. "Well, now you are the inheritor of heaven's immersing ancient ruins. You will take over Master's mantle." Elder Xian looked at him and said respectfully, "Greetings, young Master." Ding, successfully completed heaven's immersing ancient ruins mission. Reward: control of heaven's immersing ancient ruins, 100. 000 EXP, 100. 000 Crazy Point, Sword of Infinity, Soul Tool. The reward kept popping up, which made Yi Tianyun secretly happy. He finally completed the main mission. He almost thought that he would not be able to complete it. Immediately, he investigated the Sword of Infinity, and the effect immediately appeared. Sword of Infinity, low-grade soul tool, invincible, double critical damage. This effect made Yi Tianyun unable to open his eyes. Double critical damage. For a long time, his critical hit rate is relatively low. There is no effect that increases critical hit rate, so the effect is relatively limited. Increasing his luck aura and luck aura can increase the critical hit rate. If he can get an accessory that increases critical hit rate, it would be even better. Of course, he doesn't need the critical hit damage effect, just the low-grade soul tool is already very scary. "Is there anything I need to do now?" Yi Tianyun said to Elder Xian. "Yes, the former master's biggest wish is to return to the sect to see the situation, but his body is dying, so he can only sit here." Elder Xian sighed and said, "The former master hopes that the inheritor can return to the sect to help. If possible, join the former master's sect and become a disciple." "Which sect?" Yi Tianyun raised his eyebrows. To be able to cultivate such a genius, it must not be a simple force. "Heaven's top mansion," Elder Xian said solemnly. "Heaven's top mansion?" Yi Tianyun thought for a moment, but he didn't expect it. To be able to cultivate a spirit king, he believed that the force must be strong. Heaven's top mansion is a third-level force. First level is the palace, second level is the sect, and third level is the mansion. Mansion is not a family's mansion, The mansion here is quite a large force, gathering the strongest of the strong. But he has never heard of heaven's top mansion, either it is too far away, or it has declined. It was impossible for a force to maintain its strength forever. There would come a day when it would decline. This was not strange at all. Many forces had declined with the passage of time, so it all depended on their own management. Ding. Received main quest Strengthen Jade Palace. Promote Jade Palace to second level force, Jade Sect. Reward, 1 million EXP. Enhanced Lottery Roulette, 1 Crazy Point, 100,000 Crazy Point. Chapter 87. It's not easy to promote a faction from first-level faction to second-level faction. First of all, it needs enough strong core condensation cultivators, but Jade Palace meets that requirement. The gap lies in the disciples. Jade Palace's disciples are generally in body refinement realm. The number of spirit refinement realm is very small, and there are very few female cultivators, so the number of spirit refinement realm is even smaller. The key lies here. The number of spirit refinement realm disciples must reach more than 50 to be considered as second-level faction. Core condensation realm cultivators are from here, that is, the backbone of the faction, must reach a certain number. There are less than 10 spirit refinement realm disciples in Jade Palace, and there are still 40 more to reach 50. It will take a long time. It requires a lot of financial and material resources. It's not easy to break through, otherwise it would have already become a second-level faction. Let me help you. This can only be solved by alchemy. Tianyun touched his chin, but the reward is quite attractive, not to mention 1 million EXP. There is also an enhanced version of the lottery roulette. What is going on? It seems that after going back, I will be very busy. Tianyun nodded, thinking that the reward is quite satisfactory. Immediately he looked up at old Xian and asked, "Is there any martial arts here? Does it all belong to me?" "Yes, everything here is already young masters, including those martial arts." Old Xian said, "Then take me to see it." Tianyun said excitedly. Immediately they exited the illusion. Tianyun woke up from meditation, and then old Xian appeared in front of him. But it's not a real entity, but a virtual image. Relying on the array here, old Xian can still appear here. Rumble. At this time there was a sound outside. Tianyun turned his head and found that the door began to slowly close. "This door is closed, I should be able to open it, right?" Tianyun asked. "Of course, no matter who comes in, there is no problem." Old Xian said, "Well, very good. This is absolute control. Everything here is under his control. Then take me there now." Elder Xian nodded. With a wave of his hand, they disappeared from where they were and were teleported into a special space. When he entered this space, Tianyun saw a lot of martial arts piled up here. With a glance, there were quite a few human-level martial arts. There were basically no Earth-level martial arts, only 2. Only these 2 Earth-level martial arts are left? Tianyun was stunned. Yes, all the previous ones have been taken away. Only these human-level martial arts are left. Elder Xian answered truthfully, "If one is taken away, there will be one less. There are no rubbings here." Alright. Tianyun felt very helpless. Human-level martial arts were not very useful. Earth-level martial arts were the most important. Originally, he thought that he would be able to obtain a pile of Earth-level martial arts, but it seemed like his hopes were dashed. Outside heaven's immersing ancient ruins. "Great Elder, what do we do now?" "The door is already closed. Elder E won't be able to come out later." Qin Shui was anxious, but there was no way. Tianyun still didn't come out. The Great Elder was also extremely anxious in her heart. She couldn't break this light curtain at all. Could it be that she could only watch as the door closed? Other sects people gloated. Jade Palace lost a genius. It's always a good thing. Looking at Jade Palace being so arrogant recently, this time their disciple was locked in, they suffered a heavy loss. It seems like this is the only way. Great Elder immediately took off the storage ring from her hand, and while the door was not closed, she threw it into the door. This storage ring doesn't store a lot of food, but there are a few medicinal pills. As long as they save a little, it can still be used for a while. During this time, they can only think of a way to save Tianyun. Others shook their heads, thinking that Great Elder Mou is just struggling in vain. 3 years is too long. They don't believe that the food in the storage ring can last for 3 years. Who has nothing to do, will prepare food for 3 years. The most important thing is that they really haven't seen anyone come out after 3 years. Even if they prepared food, they still didn't come out. This is the most strange thing. Bang! The door slammed shut. It means that this heavens immersing ancient ruins experience is over. It also means that Yi Tianyun can't come out. Elder Mou, it's a pity in the end he still can't come out. Sect Master Hua Huan comforted, but there is a bit of joy in his eyes. He killed his own disciple. This time he finally got his retribution. It's okay, we can bear this. Elder Mou said with a sullen face, but in fact she is very sad. This is a core condensation realm powerhouse, and a late-stage powerhouse. How can she not feel sad? Everyone else smiled, and immediately returned to the Jade Palace, no longer paying attention to the disciples of Jade Palace. These disciples are not in a hurry to leave, but are silent, all showing a sad expression. After saving Elder E of Jade Palace, he can't get out. Great Elder, can't this door be opened? Qin Shui asked. No, if it could be opened by force, it would have been opened long ago. Elder Mou sighed deeply. She glanced at the door and said, we can only discuss this with the palace master. I don't think it's possible. We can only wait for 3 years. This is the only way. They don't have the strength to forcibly open this heavens immersing ancient ruins. If they can break it, it would have already been occupied. Why wait until now? Let's go back first. Great Elder Mou signaled them to go back first. It's not safe here. Immediately they all rushed back. Yun, who is in heavens immersing ancient ruins, is not in a hurry to come out. He can control this heavens immersing ancient ruins so he can come and go at will, but he is not in a hurry to go out. He is mainly worried about being discovered by others. If they see that he can control the door of heavens immersing ancient ruins, this is not a good thing. This heavens immersing ancient ruins can be used as the last trump card. If something happens to Jade Palace, he can lead all the disciples of Jade Palace to hide here. Although heavens immersing ancient ruins is very old, it can withstand the attack of other forces without any pressure. In addition to these martial arts, is there anything else in heavens immersing ancient ruins? Yi Tianyun asked. Yes, there is a cultivation room, an armory. I will take young master to see it now. Old Xian took him to other places, but this time he can't teleport. He can only teleport to the trial stone tablet. Spirit King Xian Tian's cultivation is amazing, but it doesn't mean that he has so much time to carve a teleportation formation everywhere. It's too much energy. There is no need to waste it. Chapter 88. Yi Tianyun, under the leadership of Old Xian, went to find a lot of weapons, but the grade is not very high. All of them are ordinary iron or spirit tool. There is no soul tool. This is more embarrassing. Just these weapons? Yi Tianyun pointed to the weapons in the arsenal. There are spirit tools and ordinary iron. Because it has been stored here for too long, ordinary iron really became ordinary iron. It is equivalent to a pile of scrap iron. Under the ravages of time, ordinary grade weapons are bound to be damaged. Spirit tools are also inevitable. A lot of them are damaged, although the rest are not damaged, but there is no difference between them and scrap iron. Even if you want to refine it again, it is useless. It has been stored here for too long, don't know how many years. Because there has been no successor, so I haven't come here for a long time. I didn't expect these weapons to be damaged. Old Xian is a little embarrassed. He thought he can give more things to the successor. He did not expect these weapons to be a pile of scrap iron. Well, I can understand that. Tianyun sighed. This can be seen from the situation outside. This ancient site has become a bit dilapidated. The things inside must not be any better. Immediately, Yi Tianyun walked over. In front of Old Xian's shocked eyes, he rolled up a lot of scrap iron. After rolling it up, Yi Tianyun sold the pile of copper and iron in one breath. The crazy point is simply terrible. The damaged spirit tool is worth at most dozens of crazy point. Some are even worth more than 10 crazy point. Very cheap. Ordinary iron is even more terrible. Only a few crazy point. It is really low. But Yi Tianyun doesn't care. He just helped to clean up this pile of scrap iron. There is no point in staying here. Okay, that's about it. Yi Tianyun looked at the empty space, finally feeling a lot better. Immediately he clicked on the current status bar to see the situation. Player, Yi Tianyun level, 28, 8th level core condensation, EXP, 58728 crazy point prestige. 130 points cultivation technique, Dark North divine art, Dragon God secret art, Xian Tian divine art skills. Absorbing stars great technique, Sky cloud steps, Blood fiend soaring sky weapon, Frost fist, Scarlet dagger, Wind chasing blade, Blood fiend divine spear, Sword of endlessness armor, Snow wolf battle boots, divine armor, Shadow cloak divine ability, Crazy mode, Lucky halo bloodline, Dragon god. Bloodline ornaments, Forging god hammer, Power bracelet, Power ring, Power belt, Blood fiend bracelet. All items, 18 recovery pills, 5 double EXP pills, Gift pack LV31, HP *1, bad luck pill slowly accumulating, crazy point reached 58,000, enough to upgrade the appraisal eye. On this question he was slightly conflicted. The appraisal eye was not particularly necessary, so he felt a little hesitant. Forget it, let's just level up. There's no point in keeping it now. Yi Tianyun gritted his teeth and used the 50,000 crazy points to upgrade appraisal eye. Ding, consumed 50,000 crazy point, upgrade appraisal eye. Ding. Successfully upgraded appraisal eye. Appraisal eye added new functions, memory speed and reading speed doubled, able to inspect more detailed data. Next level requires 50,000 crazy point. Memory speed and reading speed doubled. This is no doubt, so the speed of reading martial arts is faster. But more detailed data, what will it be? Then he used himself to test, and immediately the accurate data appeared. Tianyun. Cultivation level 8 core condensation, divine armor, combat strength 61,000. Martial arts, Dragon God secret art, Xian Tian divine art. Weakness, no weakness. There was an additional function, and that was the ability to report all the martial arts one possessed. Most importantly, there was an additional weakness. Yi Tianyun looked up at Old Xian next to him again to see if he can find more detailed data. Old Xian. Cultivation, peak of core condensation stage, intangible, damage nullified, combat power, 83,000 points, martial arts, Xian Tian divine art, flying thunder palm. Weakness, can only be killed by destroying the heavens immersing ancient ruins formation, otherwise cannot be killed. Kill will get 20,000 EXP, 3,000 crazy point. Possible drop items, Xian Tian divine art, heaven level, flying thunder palm, primeval chaos palm. A lot of things are listed, even the treasures that can be dropped are listed. Worth it, it's really worth it. Yi Tianyun patted his thigh. Before he thought that the appraisal eye is nothing special, after the upgrade, at most the reading speed is a little faster, but now it seems that he was too naive. He didn't expect a lot of functions to be added, not only to detect martial arts, but also to detect weaknesses. In fact, he is very satisfied with these 2 points, especially the weakness, which is very detailed. Now there is a list of drop treasures. This is amazing. Seeing that the person has a good treasure, he will definitely drop it. No matter how low-key a person is, under his appraisal eye, everything will be exposed. But whether it will drop or not, it's another matter, but at least he can see what will drop. Previously, he had been vexed over this matter. He did not know if the other party would drop anything. If it was something worthless, he would not even bother activating the lucky halo. Old Xian frowned. He doesn't know what Yi Tianyun is doing. He is laughing like crazy. Did he go crazy when he saw a pile of broken copper and iron? Young master, what's wrong with you? These weapons are not good, but you can go to the cultivation room, it's not bad. Old Xian comforted. Well, take me to the cultivation room. Yi Tianyun stopped laughing, satisfied. Sure enough, things that can be upgraded can't be useless. This 50k crazy point is really worth it. Instead of using it for lottery, it is better to use it to level up. The key is to level up first. Immediately, Old Xian took him to the cultivation room. There is no problem here, because there is a spirit gathering formation, so the concentration of spiritual power in these cultivation rooms is extremely high. In addition, The area where heaven's immersing ancient ruins is located is relatively rich in spiritual power. Spirit King Shen Tian will not choose a random place to build a temple. This is definitely a good place, so there is no doubt that there is more spirit gathering formation. It's just that the spirit gathering formation is a bit broken, it needs to be repaired. As long as Yi Tianyun repair it a little, he can't say that it will restore the previous effect, but it will definitely restore a lot of spirit gathering formation. At that time, it can become a very good cultivation place, definitely better than the location where Jade Palace is located. Well, this is also good. Is there any other place? Yi Tianyun asked. These are all hidden places. They really need to dig 3 feet to be able to dig. But this place is not so easy to destroy, so they can't dig. No, this is it, Old Xian said. Chapter 89. When Yi Tianyun felt that it was about time, he came to the door. When he came out, he saw a storage ring on the ground. He picked it up and looked at it carefully. He was surprised. Isn't this the Great Elder's ring? Suddenly he knew the situation. They all thought that he was trapped inside, so they threw the storage ring in so that he would have something to eat. If he was trapped here for 3 years without food, he would definitely die. But even if he had something to eat, he would still die. Because Elder Xian will personally come out to get rid of them within a week. If they did not break this maze and come in to accept the test, the result will be death. Staying here will only waste the spiritual power here, so they prepared a lot of food to stay here to cultivate, but they all died here. Holding the storage ring, Tianyun was very touched. At least they were willing to do this. It's time to go back. Then Yi Tianyun opened the door. Under his control, the door began to slowly open to the side with a rumbled sound. It was not difficult to control. With just a thought, he could easily control the environment here, naturally including the door. After opening a gap, he quickly crawled out. After he crawled out, there was no one outside. He purposely stayed in there for a few more days before he came out. If there was someone outside, it would not be a good thing if they saw him coming out. Boom! With a loud sound, the door was completely closed. When Yi Tianyun nodded with satisfaction, suddenly his eyes turned cold. He looked to the side. Who's there? The direction he was looking at was a forest, hundreds of meters away from here. From where he looked, there was no one, just a forest. Immediately, his eyes turned cold and quickly disappeared. Immediately, he felt a creepy killing intent shrouding him. His heart sank. He did not expect that after hiding inside for a few days, there was still someone outside, and their cultivation was not weak. It seems that my hunch was right, so I came back and waited for a few days. I didn't expect you to be able to open this door and enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins at will. I knew you were a bit strange. Normally people don't take too long to choose the trial steel, but you stayed here for a whole week. There must be something special. I didn't expect you to be able to control the heavens immersing ancient ruins. At this time, a familiar figure appeared from the forest, sneering at Yi Tianyun. Sect Master Hua Kan? When Yi Tianyun saw who it was, he didn't expect it to be sect leader Hua Gong of the Splendid Sect. He really was a schemer. Everyone else thought he was an idiot who would be trapped here forever. He didn't expect to see Yi Tianyun coming out of the heavens immersing ancient ruins after just 2 days. This means that he will be able to control the heavens immersing ancient ruins at will. If he gains control, then the heavens immersing ancient ruins will be his, and all the treasures inside will belong to him. What? Are you surprised to see me? When I saw you coming out, I was even more surprised. But even more surprised. Sect leader Hua Kan smiled happily. Others thought you would be trapped inside, but I don't quite believe that you are stupid enough to choose martial arts for so long. Plus you can kill my disciple. Your cultivation must be at the peak of spirit refinement realm. A peak of spirit refinement realm cultivator? Why would he choose martial arts for so long? I don't think it's possible. It turns out that I'm not wrong. Staying here for so long is not in vain. Now I'll give you a choice. That is, hand over the control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, and I'll leave your corpse intact. At the end of his words, his voice became murderous. He has already regarded Yi Tianyun as a corpse. He not only wants to gain control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, but he also wants to kill Yi Tianyun to avoid future troubles. Hand over the control of the heavens immersing ancient ruins, and only leave my corpse intact. Sect leader Huacan, it seems that you don't know how to do business. Yi Tianyun's face is indifferent. He doesn't take the murderous aura seriously. I don't know how to do business, but this deal is not up to you to disagree. After I kill you, I'll search your storage ring. Sect leader Huacan has long believed that Yi Tianyun's storage ring contains something that controls the heavens immersing ancient ruins. He doesn't know that killing Yi Tianyun is useless. The one who really controls the heavens immersing ancient ruins is Old Xian. If Yi Tianyun dies, then he can't open the heavens immersing ancient ruins. It seems that I can't escape this time. Yi Tianyun smiled lightly. It seems that you're not too stupid. Make a choice. If you don't resist, I can make your death less painful. After killing my disciple, I can let you die a little more comfortably. I'm already very kind to you. To be honest, from the outside, your talent is still very good. At such a young age, you are already at the peak of spirit refinement realm, but in front of me, you can't even withstand a single blow. Sect leader Huacan said as he walked towards Yi Tianyun. The pressure gradually increased. He wants to make Yi Tianyun feel more pressure. Sect leader Huacan thought that Yi Tianyun's cultivation is only at the peak of spirit refinement realm. This thinking has been fixed. After all, only cultivators with this cultivation can enter the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Then let's give it a try. Detailed data of sect leader Huacan appeared in front of Yi Tianyun's eyes. Huacan, 6th level of core condensation, wearing a high-grade spirit armor, combat power 40,000. Martial arts learned. Heavenly dragon palm, falling rain movement technique. Weakness, attacks the shoulder, to confuse the opponent. Items that will drop. Heavenly dragon palm, falling rain movement technique, 5 times EXP pill, 100,000 EXP pill, 10,000 to 50,000 gold. Detailed data appeared in front of him. Yi Tianyun's mouth hooked up into a sneer. Playing with him is too inexperienced. It seems that you are stubborn. If that's the case, then don't blame me. Sect leader Huacan waved his palm. The power of 6th level of core condensation was released. Layers of sandstorm rolled up on the ground. Then a sand dragon appeared on his palm and wrapped around his arm. Just as he was about to attack, an even faster figure rushed over and punched him. Sect Master Hua Huan was sent flying. He rolled on the ground several times and a few of his teeth were knocked out. His whole body was stunned. He didn't know what was going on. He just punched him. When he wanted to get up, a figure rushed over, stepped on his head and said indifferently, "Who is to blame now?" Sect leader Huacan glanced at the figure from the corner of his eye. He was shocked. The punch just now shocked him. Just the strength and speed of the figure, he knew that it is far beyond him. Chapter 90. Sect Master Huaxian was stunned on the spot. He never thought that Yi Tianyun's cultivation would be higher than his, and not just by a little. Get lost. Sect Master Huaxian jumped up and raised his leg to kick Yi Tianyun, but Yi Tianyun quickly dodged to the side. Just as Sect Master Huacan got up, he waved his palm and slammed it towards Yi Fuyin. The violent force suppressed everything, and even the surrounding sand was swept up, turning it into a sand dragon. This was his famous ultimate skill, the Heavenly Dragon Palm, an Earth-level martial art. However, Yi Tianyun's fist was faster than him. Bang! Sect Master Huacan was knocked to the ground by Yi Tianyun's fist. Yi Tianyun's fist broke a few of Sect Master Huacan's teeth, but Sect Master Huacan didn't fall to the ground. It was just a relatively light injury. If he was serious, Sect Master Huaxian would not have been able to get up. His head would have been smashed by a punch. The gap between the two was too big. Yi Tianyun's current battle power was almost 70,000, while Sect Master Huaxuan's was only 40,000. The gap was not small. Who's still stubborn now? Yi Tianyun said indifferently. Sect Master Huaxian was dazed again by the second punch. His eyes were filled with stars, and he could not see the surroundings clearly at all. No, impossible. How can your cultivation be so high? Sect Master Huaxian got up with difficulty. His face was already swollen like a pig's head. After the 2 punches, his teeth were about to fall off, and his voice was a little leaky. There are many things you don't know, and you still want to leave my corpse intact. Now, should I leave your corpse intact, or should you leave mine intact? Yi Tianyun revealed a devilish smile. In the eyes of sect master Huaxian, this smile was like the smile of a devil, a smile that wanted to drag him into the abyss. Die. The storage ring in sect master Huahuan's hand suddenly flashed, and a black object was thrown towards Yi Tianyun, but Yi Tianyun was already faster than sect master Huahuan. Yi Tianyun pushed sect master Huahuan's hand back and kicked him. Boom. Accompanied by a series of explosions, sect master Huaqian was sent flying and rolled dozens of times. The armor on his body was blasted into smithereens. Fortunately, he had this armor. Otherwise, he would have been blown to pieces. However, his current situation was not much better. He spat out blood as soon as he turned around. His body twitched uncontrollably and he couldn't stand up at all. I didn't expect you to have hidden weapons. The power is not bad, but it's a pity that your sneak attack speed is a bit slow. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. He had been keeping an eye on sect leader Huahuan. How could he not notice this minute change? After coughing out a few mouthfuls of blood, sect leader Huahuan raised his head to look at Yi Tianyun and pleaded, "Please let me go, I won't tell anyone about this. It was all my fault before. As long as you let me go, Hua Tian sect will listen to your orders." Unable to resist, he finally chose to lower his head and beg for mercy. He didn't want to die. He had a bright future ahead of him. He was the sect leader of the Heavenly Splendor sect. If he were to die here, no one would be able to give him a proper burial. Do you think it's useful to beg for mercy now? If I beg for mercy, will you let me go? Yi Tianyun sneered and said, "If you have a bit of backbone, I can still give you a quick death, but now..." The inextinguishable flame in his hand rose up and he threw it out, enveloping sect master Huakuan in an instant. Ah! Sect master Huahuan cried out tragically as he was burned by the inextinguishable flame. One could only imagine the pain he was in. He kept rolling on the ground, but he didn't even have the strength to roll. He was punched twice by Yi Tianyun and then exploded by his own hidden weapon. How could he get up? Soon he couldn't struggle anymore. He was completely burned to death by the immortal fire. Ding, successfully killed sect leader Huahuan, gained 54,000 EXP, Heavenly Dragon Palm, Earth level martial art, 100k EXP pill, 3200 crazy point. It's a pity that he only got Heavenly Dragon Palm and 100k EXP pill. It seems that even if he activated Luck Aura, he can only get a small part of it. Unless he's really lucky, he really can't get anything good. But Heavenly Dragon Palm is equal to Earth-level martial art. What else can he ask for? He immediately took sect leader Huahuan's storage ring. There was a lot of wealth inside, but most of them were medicinal pills and gold. There were also some good quality spirit tools. As for martial arts, it was unlikely that they could be found here. They were all stored within the magnificent sect and could not be carried around. He gently stretched out his hand, and Heaven Dragon Palm appeared in the palm of his hand from the inventory. A thick book of Heaven Dragon Palm appeared in front of him, which means that he can give this martial art to Shi Shuiyun. The only disadvantage is that he can't cultivate it. After cultivating it, the book will disappear and he can't sell it. If he can sell it after learning it, he can make a profit. I'll leave this martial art to Jade Palace. No, if I cultivate it, won't I expose something? Yi Tianyun frowned, and finally put the martial art back into the inventory and chose to sell it. 8,000 crazy point, worthy of being an Earth-level martial art. Yi Tianyun is very satisfied with the price. He doesn't plan to increase proficiency. Who told him to be so poor? He just spent 500k crazy point, and the remaining crazy point is too little. Immediately he looked at the burnt body of sect leader Huahuan, and gently waved his hand. A pile of soil rolled up and covered the body. Although sect leader Huahuan has a grudge against him, he can still bury the body with some soil. Fortunately, it's only sect leader Huahuan. If someone ran away, it would be troublesome. Yi Tianyun doesn't want to let them know that he can control Heaven's immersing ancient ruins. He will only let his aunt know about it. When he goes back, he will definitely talk to Shi Shuiyun and let her arrange for Heaven's immersing ancient ruins to be the second stronghold. Compared to Jade Palace, Heaven's immersing ancient ruins is much stronger. It's time to go back in case something happens. Yi Tianyun looked around and quickly rushed back to Jade Palace. He will go back to improve the strength of Jade Palace, and strive to improve the comprehensive strength of Jade Palace to second level in a short period of time. At the same time, on the side of Jade Palace, something strange began to happen. In an instant, the sky turned dark. A black cloud pressed down on them, giving off a depressing feeling. Chapter 91. Black clouds loomed over the city, and a huge pressure came from afar. The elite disciples in Jade Palace came out one after another, and those with low cultivation were arranged to evacuate quickly. They immediately noticed that something was wrong, and immediately arranged to evacuate from the back mountain of Jade Palace. Unless they are surrounded, they can still evacuate smoothly. But not long after the evacuation, someone came back to report. "Palace Lord, there is also a strong guard in the back mountain, and they won't let us pass." The deacon who came back in a hurry reported. "It seems that they are ready to go all out." Shi Shuiyun frowned. Sure enough, the forces that came to Jade Palace are not alone, but in a large group. They are led by a group of old men. They look like the type who stepped into a coffin, but the aura released from their body doesn't look like the type who stepped into a coffin at all. And this is not just one, but 6. The 6 old men have the traces of time on their faces. One by one, deep ravine is carved on their face. The light flashing in their eyes is not as bright as when they were young, they are just hanging on to their last breath. The 6 of them are the old ancestors of 3 forces, and their cultivation is at the peak of core condensation, only 1 step away from spirit core realm, but this step, they have been unable to break through. In this state, it can be said that they climbed out of a coffin. If it wasn't for their sect master being killed, they really wouldn't come out of seclusion. This is too painful. Their lifespan is not long, coming out in this state is undoubtedly a waste of their lifespan, but now they have to come out, the situation is urgent, they have to come out. Their sect master had been killed, but they were hiding in the sect without saying a word. That would be a joke to the world. Moreover, the other party was a woman. In this situation where men were superior to women, how could they swallow this insult? One is at the peak of core condensation, the rest are at the 8th or 9th level of core condensation. Not everyone can reach the peak of core condensation. When reaching core condensation, their lifespan is as long as 400 or 500 years, and looking at their state, their lifespan is almost up. Living for 400 to 500 years was already at the level of an old monster. If he wanted to live longer, he would have to break through to the next level to be able to live longer. A spirit core stage cultivator could live for at least 800 or 900 years, or even 1,000 years, but this cultivation was not easy to break, especially when they were old. "Palace Master, what should we do now?" Great Elder Mou has returned with a dignified face. Jade Palace's disadvantage is too obvious. Without Tianyun, their strength has plummeted. "I was just about to go out and see how I can get Tianyun out, but I didn't expect them to be here so soon." Shi Shuiyun was extremely anxious when she learned that Tianyun was trapped. She was about to go to the heavens immersing ancient ruins, but it was too late. These old farts immediately surrounded him, as if they had received some news and quickly rushed over. Without Tianyun's strength, it would be much more difficult to deal with these old geezers. Even though the cultivation of these old farts had declined and could not be compared to when they were at their peak, they still possessed great power and could not be underestimated. "Palace Master, this time it's all our fault." Great Elder Mou felt guilty. "It has nothing to do with you. That kid must have done something, otherwise he wouldn't have stayed inside for so long." Shi Shuiyun said solemnly, "Now let's focus on this group of old farts." At this time, the 6 old men came over, each step was so heavy. 6 late-stage core condensation cultivators, their aura is so strong that it can be imagined. This was really the full strength of their sect, including other elite deacons. They surrounded the place, so that not even a drop of water could pass through. With the current situation of Jade Palace, there is no way for them to break out, they will only be ruthlessly suppressed. "You kids, it seems that this old man hasn't come out for a long time. Do you think this is your world?" Peak core condensation cultivator is the old ancestor of Wing's sect, old ancestor Wention. "You killed so many of our people, it seems that this account has to be settled." Next to him is a slightly weaker old man, but he is also at 9th level core condensation. This is the old ancestor of Spirit Sect, Old Ancestor Tian Feng. Yes, we haven't come out for so long. Do you all think that we have completely disappeared? When we were here, you weren't even born yet. The old ancestor of Wind Pavilion is Old Ancestor Feng Yun, also at 9th level core condensation. Their lowest cultivation is at 9th level core condensation, otherwise they wouldn't be called old farts. These three are the representatives of their respective sects, and they are currently the most senior old ancestor. Several old ancestors spoke one after another. A very oppressive aura came over them, making many people breathless. Is that so, you old farts? Although our Jade Palace is a first-level faction, it doesn't mean that we are weaker than you. At this time, 3 old ancestors came out of Jade Palace. All of them are old women, but they still walk so calmly. They are the old ancestor who has been in seclusion for a long time. Now they are forced to come out of seclusion. Their cultivation is not high, only at 7th level core condensation, but compared to what Wing Sect said before, they are only at 1st level core condensation, which is too exaggerated. They are all at 7th level core condensation, and in this continent, they are also the most powerful characters. So you are not dead yet? It seems that you are really hard to survive. Old Ancestor Wen Tian sneered. Now let's make it clear, you killed so many of our people. Now I will give you a choice, either surrender to us, merge with our sects, and become Dao companions with other disciples, or the result is a bloodbath in your Jade Palace. No matter which one they choose, it will end in a tragedy. Especially the first one. That would be the ultimate humiliation. Normally they like each other, they can only be called Dao companions. According to the current situation, they can only be called slaves. You want us to be your slaves? Dream on. We would rather fight to the last man than to give you what you want. Old Ancestor Bing Xian's eyes are cold. She absolutely won't give up. Is that so? Then I will massacre your Jade Palace. This is the price you have to pay. Old Ancestor Wen Tian sneered. Do it? At the same time when he shouted to start, it is not on their side, but on the inside of Jade Palace, someone suddenly took action and stabbed at the people on the side. Puchi. A blood rose bloomed in the air, followed by 2, 3, 1 by 1, the disciples were pierced through. The sudden change left many people dumbfounded. Bastard, you traitors! Sure, Shueyun's eyes are cold, her figure flashed quickly, trying to intercept these traitors, but an old ancestor quickly surrounded her and fiercely slapped her. Bang! Sure, Shueyun was shocked back. She didn't gain the slightest advantage. She followed those traitors back. Generally there are not many, only 4 or 5 of them. They are all traitors here. Their cultivation is not low, some even reached spirit refinement realm, and some even entered heaven's immersing ancient ruins. The disciple with a little bit of focus training turned out to be a traitor. This result is really hard to accept. You didn't expect this, right? Without that brat, do you think you can form any kind of influence? I heard that Brat's cultivation level has reached 9th level of core condensation. He is really monstrous. Old Ancestor Wen Tian sneered. Locked in heaven's immersing ancient ruins, I think he can't come out, or he died in there. What else can you do now? They rushed here so quickly, it turns out that there is a traitor here. When they learned that Tianyun can't come out of heaven's immersing ancient ruins, they quickly rushed here. There is no wall that can keep secret, especially now that there is a traitor, so the situation is even more serious. Tianyun's strength is completely exposed, so he can deceive others, but he can't deceive them. It is because of Tianyun that they dare not attack at will. Now that he is gone, they quickly rushed here. God knows what other trump card Tianyun has, so to be cautious, they did not attack. At the same time, Tianyun, who is rushing back, felt a chill in his body. Something is wrong. Strange, why do I have a bad feeling? Hurry back. Tianyun's eyes are cold, and hurriedly accelerated his running speed. Chapter 92. They don't know how strong Tianyun is, but since he can easily kill so many strong cultivators, then his cultivation is definitely not low. They speculate that Tianyun is at least 9th level core condensation, which is the same level as them. Their cultivation is the same, but in terms of physique, Tianyun is definitely stronger. This is the advantage of being young. They are old bastards, and if they fight for a while, their lifespan will be shortened by a few years. This is definitely not something they want to see. After enduring for so long, they finally heard the excellent news, that is, Tianyun is locked in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Now that the spy in Jade Palace has returned, it's also to give them a blow, but also to not accidentally hurt them during the war. It's a pity such a monstrous genius is trapped in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. I don't know how he got in, but he is trapped in there. Even if he doesn't die, after 3 years, Jade Palace will be gone. Old Ancestor Wention smiled and said, "Other people think that Jade Palace has some kind of terrifying trump card. Don't you think I don't know? Except for a few old bastards, now there is no one left. What do you have to fight against us?" Old Ancestor Wention kept attacking them, making them waver, instilling the idea that if they don't surrender, they will die. "I will give you one last chance. If you choose to surrender, I will treat you well. If you resist, you will die." Old Ancestor Wention glanced at them coldly. They don't have much hope in Shueyun, but they can convince those disciples with weak cultivation and those who are afraid of death to come over. Those disciples looked at each other, and there is indeed a bit of wavering in their eyes. In the face of 3 major forces, Old Ancestor, there is no Tianyun. How can they resist? Shueyun gently closed her eyes, and immediately took a deep breath and said, "If you want to surrender, then surrender. I will not blame you." As soon as she said that, many people looked at each other, especially the outer disciples. They basically did not hesitate to retreat. They are outer disciples. They don't have deep feelings for Jade Palace. There is no need for them to sacrifice their lives for Jade Palace. As for the official disciples, many of them were shaken. Should they continue to stay here? Staying here would only lead to death. All they could do was pointless resistance. As long as one wasn't blind, they would be able to see the situation around them. Just the 6 old ancestors were enough to make people tremble. Their strength was several times stronger than before. Some official disciples hesitated, and finally chose to stand up, leave Jade Palace, and come to the opposite camp. The few elders all shook their heads, but did not scold them. Their lives were their own, and they could not do anything about it. "What are you doing? Don't you trust the palace mistress?" At this time, a voice came from the crowd of disciples. The person who spoke first was none other than Jiao Lingyun, who was brought back by Tianyun. Jiao Lingyun stood up and pointed at them, her face red. In her opinion, after joining Jade Palace, she shouldn't have left. The elders were shocked. They didn't expect that the first one to stand up was this inconspicuous little girl, as if to defend their dignity, the dignity of their Jade Palace. The most important thing is that Tianyun brought back. This time in this crisis, she chose to stand up for Jade Palace without any fear. The old ancestor on the opposite side showed a sarcastic expression. "Isn't this nonsense? Staying here is courting death. Who wants to die?" At this time, someone came over and whispered to Old Ancestor Wention, and immediately Old Ancestor Wention sneered. "Oh, so it's that kid who brought back. No wonder you are willing to speak for Jade Palace. This is the truth. What's the point if you lose your life? Compared to this, I need to defend the dignity of Jade Palace, protect the Jade Palace that young Master E wants to protect. Even if I die, I will protect Jade Palace." Jiao Lingyun's eyes are full of determination. Her cultivation is not high, but her words are full of momentum. "Yes, Jade Palace is not bad to us. I would rather die in battle. I will protect Jade Palace. I have no parents since I was a child. Jade Palace raised me. I will also protect Jade Palace with my life." One by one, they remember that Jade Palace is not bad to them. Since the Palace Lord and the others are not willing to surrender, they are even more unwilling to surrender. One by one, their heart was wavering, but now they immediately become firm. They are driven by Jiao Lingyun. Shueyun's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. She didn't expect Jiao Lingyun to have this kind of ability. She has some leadership ability. "Ha, a group of idiots. I will let you know what is hell. Protect with your life? Bullshit." Old Ancestor Wention laughed. "Go, catch them all, especially that girl. I want to see if you are not afraid of death." As soon as the order was given, they all moved, all of them rushed towards Jade Palace. Their killing intent surged towards Tianyun. 6 old ancestor moved at the same time. All of a sudden, Shi Shuayun and the others immediately pulled out their sword. All of them rushed forward, not daring to relax. 3 old ancestor and Shi Shuayun are the vanguard, but at most they can resist 4 old ancestor. The other 2 can only rely on the other elders to resist, but the gap between their cultivation is too big, they can't resist for long. Bang! One by one, Jade Palace's disciples were sent flying. They are either seriously injured or fainted. The disciples who came to kill them are merciless. On the other hand, the traitorous disciples were sneering at them from afar. They felt that their choice was the wisest. If they still stayed there, only death awaited them. If not, they would be captured and brought back. At that time, it was unimaginable how they would be treated. Hee, the ancestor ordered us to capture you. Little girl, you were quite stubborn just now. When we capture you, let's see if you'll still be so stubborn. The disciple who came over laughed sinisterly. His expression was ferocious and he looked extremely evil. Jiao Lingyun's face didn't change. She is holding a long sword ready to resist. I'd rather die than let you take me away, Jiao Lingyun said and put the long sword across her neck, ready to commit suicide, but thinking that she will never see Tianyun again, she will never be able to take care of her brother, she can't help but shed tears, but she didn't regret it, she will never regret it. You want to commit suicide? Impossible. The disciple who is at the 4th level of spirit refinement realm rushed over. His speed is faster. He reached out and hit the long sword in Jiao Lingyun's hand, then grabbed her arm. Suddenly Jiao Lingyun can't move. The cultivation gap between the two is too big, she can't resist at all. Let's see you, little girl, how are you going to commit suicide? Hee, you look a bit ordinary, but your figure is not bad. The disciple smiled, licked his tongue and looked at her body. Jiao Lingyun's face is pale, her mouth moved slightly, ready to bite her tongue to commit suicide. At this moment, a silver light crossed the sky. The disciple was hit by the light and flew out. With a bang, the disciple rolled a few times on the ground. There is no more movement. At this time, a tall snow wolf appeared in everyone's sight. This snow wolf is arranged by Tianyun to guard here. His order is very simple, specifically to protect Shi Shuayun and Jiao Lingyun. If they are in danger, immediately appear to protect them. The appearance of a snow wolf shocked many people. How can there be a demon beast here? And its cultivation is as high as 7th level of core condensation. How? The snow wolf looked up to the sky and roared, followed by a dense number of snow wolves. Their cultivation is not high, but it is enough to block some spirit refinement realm or body refinement realm cultivators. At the same time, Tianyun, who is running in the distance, heard the system beep. Ding, successfully killed Wing Sect disciple, gained 2,800 EXP, 600 crazy point, 50 forging proficiency. Tianyun is stunned, although the snow wolf is far away, but if it kills a demon beast or a human, he will also get EXP. Therefore, he was completely capable of leveling up by staying at home and letting the snow wolf slay the demonic beasts. The most important thing now, of course, is not the EXP, but he knows one thing, that is someone is coming. Those old bastards, they really came? Very good, then this time I will clear the place. Tianyun looked up. Not far away is already covered with snow. They have reached the range of Jade Palace. Chapter 93. A core condensation stage snow wolf appeared in everyone's sight and suddenly shocked a lot of people. Generally speaking, demon beasts don't dare to enter human territory at will. But not only did it come in, but it also brought a group of snow wolves. While he was still in a daze, the snow wolf suddenly pounced on the enemies surrounding Jiao Lingyun and killed them all in 2 or 3 moves. He showed no mercy at all, simply killing anyone on sight. Tianyun's order is very ruthless, that is, whoever is hostile, they will be killed. Since they are already hostile, what's the point of keeping them alive? Awoo! The snow wolf looked up and howled, and countless snow wolves rushed up, but they didn't rush to Jade Palace's disciples, but to the invading enemies. They didn't touch a single hair of Jade Palace, they only attacked the invaders. The snow wolf didn't stop, it rushed in front of Shi Shuayun. and rushed towards Tian Feng Old Ancestor, who repeatedly forced Shi Shuiyun to retreat. Tian Feng Old Ancestor, who originally planned to give Shi Shuiyun a fatal blow, turned his eyes and said angrily, "Beast, get out of here." Tian Feng Old Ancestor swung his sword and cut the snow wolf. Dang, as if he cut a hard iron block, the snow wolf was shocked back, and there was only a faint scar on its body. After the snow wolf's cultivation breakthrough, its fur is much harder than before. As long as it's not too shocking, it can resist. It's a strong meat shield. Roar. The snow wolf stood in front of Shi Shuiyun and grinned at Tian Feng Old Ancestor, full of hostility and killing intent. "I didn't expect you to raise a demon beast. I really didn't expect it." Tian Feng Old Ancestor felt numb. This snow wolf's fur is really hard. Tian Feng Old Ancestor and others were shocked. Shi Shuiyun and the others were also shocked. They didn't expect a core condensation level demon beast to come to their rescue. The most important thing is that it has been guarding Shi Shuiyun and Jiulingyun. Could it be Tianyun's demonic beast? Shi Shuiyun was stunned. This was because she saw that Xue Lang was stubbornly guarding her. The other elders were being fiercely attacked, but he didn't care at all. It was as if he was air. He didn't care about him at all. What? Elder Yi's demonic beast? Elder Mou, who had been pushed back, was shaken. He felt that this was inconceivable. Subduing a demonic beast was too difficult, and it was even more impossible for someone with a high cultivation. They didn't know that this snow wolf's cultivation level was just at the body refinement stage, but now it has reached the core condensation stage. When Yi Tianyun first returned, he had Snow Wolf hide outside and watch for any fish that slipped through the net. Thus, while he was leveling up, Snow Wolf was also constantly gaining experience. That's just my guess. Shi Shuiyun's gaze was complicated. Soon after, she tried shouting, "Snow Wolf, go and help the others." But Snow Wolf didn't move. It just stayed beside Shi Shuiyun. It doesn't listen to her orders, but it doesn't have any hostility towards her. It only listens to Yi Tianyun's orders. It doesn't listen to anyone else, unless Yi Tianyun orders it to listen to someone. It seems that you can't command it. I don't know how you got this snow wolf to help you, but even with this snow wolf, your Jade Palace can't change the fate of destruction. Old Ancestor Tian Feng sneered. Is that so? I feel like you can't change the fate of destruction? A familiar voice, a familiar figure appeared in everyone's sight. His cold eyes swept over them, and murderous intent rose to the sky. Tianyun. When Shi Shuiyun and others saw Yi Tianyun, their heart trembled. They don't know when Yi Tianyun has become the backbone of Jade Palace. The entire Jade Palace can't do without him. His appearance caused many people's hearts to tremble. You are that kid, didn't you say that you were trapped in heaven's immersing ancient ruins? How can you come out? Old Ancestor Wen Tian was shocked. Is this important? Yi Tianyun nodded to Snow Wolf. Kill them all, start with the weakest, go. Bwr. Snow Wolf immediately rushed to the weakest Snow Wolf. All the summoned Snow Wolves rushed to the weakest Snow Wolf. With just one sentence, all the Snow Wolves immediately changed their attack. This immediately confirmed their guess, that Snow Wolf is Yi Tianyun's demon beast. I didn't expect this Snow Wolf to listen to you. But even if you come back this time, you still can't change the fate of the Jade Palace. Old Ancestor Wen Tian snorted and immediately signaled two of the Old Ancestor to give up fighting with Jade Palace Elder and go to kill Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun looked up, and their data appeared in front of him. The highest combat power is Old Ancestor Wen Tian, but it's only 140,000 combat power. In his eyes, it's not worth mentioning. Is that so? Let's try it? Yi Tianyun's eyes immediately burst with divine light, Dragon God's secret art ignited, his body was instantly covered with dragon scales, and his combat power increased crazily. Activate crazy damage, quadruple damage. Activate crazy experience, quadruple experience. Double EXP pill, take. Double EXP pill, suddenly exploded his combat power. From the initial 60,000 combat power, it suddenly soared to 210,000 combat power. If not me, then who else? Compared to before, it's tens of thousands of combat power. This is the horror of crazy mode, on the original basis, suddenly stacked 4 times. The 10,000 combat power is increased by power bracelet set, otherwise it would be 240,000 combat power, which is even more terrifying. Excluding the power bracelet set, that's 50,000 combat power, quadruple, that's 200,000 combat power, plus 10,000 combat power, that's 210,000 combat power. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions, instantly suppressing everyone, including the old ancestors. A sense of fear surged from the heart, but more was a sense of powerlessness. Under such a terrifying momentum, they immediately felt the gap, an insurmountable gap. This momentum is at the spirit core stage. Their hearts trembled. Etiennen's cultivation has not reached the spirit core stage, but under the quadruple strength, it gave them the feeling of a spirit core stage powerhouse. The next moment, in Etiennen's hand, a blood-red spear appeared. This spear is the soul tool that exploded before. The sky full of evil chi was released from the blood fiend divine spear, constantly spreading to the surroundings. Wherever it goes, it can affect their minds. At this moment, under the bonus of the soul tool, his comprehensive combat power is as high as 230,000. Blood fiend soaring sky. A bloody light flashed in Etiennen's eyes, twisting the blood fiend divine spear in his hand, with a loud bang. With him as the center, a blood fiend rushed to the sky, and immediately he turned into a blood arrow piercing through the sky. Aiming at the nearest practitioner, regardless of the level of their cultivation, he pierced through in one fell swoop. Swish, 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 a blood arrow shot out, piercing through one practitioner after another. The practitioner who was pierced was stunned, feeling a little cold in his chest. He looked down and found that there was already a bloody hole. Bang, bang, bang. In an instant, these practitioners exploded, turned into soaring evil chi, and integrated into the evil chi in this area, becoming even more terrifying. Combined with Earth-level martial arts, who can stop him? Chapter 94. Ding, successfully killed Spirit Sect Disciple, gained 20,000 EXP, 1000 Crazy Point, Restore Pill. Ding, successfully killed Wing Sect Disciple, gained 28,000 EXP, 1300 Crazy Point, Blacksmith Mastery increased by 50. Ding, successfully killed Profound Soul Old Ancestor, gained 110,000 EXP, 28800 Crazy Point, Soul Subduing Secret Art, Earth Level, Profound Ice Divine Armor, Middle Grade Spirit Tool, Cold Ice Blade, High Grade Spirit Tool. Ding, successfully killed. A blood arrow shot out, several people directly exploded, turned into countless EXP and treasures. The data kept jumping, and the treasures kept falling into the inventory. Unfortunately, there is no Crazy Point double card, otherwise he would have more Crazy Point. But double card is too expensive, he can't afford it now. And at the moment he can't care so much, kill every enemy he sees, show no mercy. Since he has been forced to this point, there is no need to show mercy. He left Snow Wolf here, to a large extent, to prevent these old bastards from coming to his door. He doesn't believe that these old bastards will be willing to swallow their anger, and sure enough, they came to his door. If it weren't for the fact that the situation didn't allow him to do so and that he was afraid that there might be an ambush over there, he would have killed his way to the door long ago to prevent any future troubles. Now take this opportunity to kill all of them. Awur. Snow Wolf is also madly killing around, countless EXP is constantly pouring in. The most important thing is that it is also leveling up. After killing a lot of cultivators, it ushered in another breakthrough, killing to 8th level core condensation. Its fur suddenly became harder. One man and one beast are so crazy killing, they don't need help from Jade Palace. Etienne killed an old ancestor, and a group of talented deacons. Wherever he goes, all of them are killed by him. No one can withstand his blade. Who could resist a cultivator comparable to a spirit core stage cultivator? Quick, stop him! Old Ancestor Wen Tian shouted loudly, ignoring the old ancestor of Jade Palace, and turned to intercept Etienne. If this continues, they won't be able to kill the old ancestor of Jade Palace. They will be finished. Want to leave? It's not that simple. Old Ancestor Bing Xen coldly snorted. Her withered palms slapped forward, and a burst of cold ice wrapped around it. Get lost. Patriarch Wen Tian roared in rage as a domineering energy swept out, sending the ice flying. However, the ice continued to surround him. Although it didn't deal any damage to him, it could at least hold him back. The other ancestral patriarchs burst out one after another. Their originally pale faces had a tinge of redness. This was the result of their blood qi, and they knew that this was their best opportunity. As long as they wait for Yi Tianyun to finish harvesting everything, then the remaining old ancestors wouldn't be able to do anything. Let me help you. Shi Shuiyun's eyes were cold. She quickly dashed forward, waving her sword to block the ancestors, not letting them get close to Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun glanced at him, and the two of them smiled at each other. They were already of one mind. Then he stabbed with his long spear. Killing one ancestor with one move was not difficult at all. For a time, screams sounded incessantly. The disciples who betrayed Jade Palace trembled all over. Looking at this scene, they were dumbfounded. The one who said that he had no blood qi and cultivation waste is actually so powerful. Whether it's spirit refinement realm or core condensation realm, Yi Tianyun killed one ancestor with one move, without any pause. The same is true for the Snow Wolf. He killed one ancestor with one bite, and with the Snow Wolf surrounding him, there is no place to escape. Just relying on one person and one beast, they have already thrown away their armor, but they can't escape. The first ones that Yi Tianyun killed are naturally the ones with low cultivation. If the one with high cultivation tries to stop him, he will naturally fight back without any hesitation. Roar. At this time, suddenly Wing Sek's old ancestor Wen Tian roared. A soul tool level giant axe appeared in his hand, his power rapidly increased, blood qi madly surged up, the original old body became young and full of elasticity. This strange change is because he was angry. He stimulated the blood qi buried in his body. The result is that his lifespan is reduced by many years. But now, if they don't stop Yi Tianyun, all the people they brought with them will die. Fuck off. Old ancestor Wen Tian angrily waved the axe to the side. Like a full moon sword light spread out, old ancestor Bing Xen and the others were shocked flying. They all felt their face turned red, and then vomited blood. Under this wave, they all suffered a lot of injuries. The power of old ancestor level, combined with the power of a soul tool level weapon, the power that erupts out is no small matter. Not only old ancestor Wen Tian, but the other old ancestors also took out their soul tool. Originally they didn't want to use it. If they want to use the soul tool, they need to consume blood qi. This is undoubtedly reducing their lifespan. As old ancestors, they can still take out a soul tool. After taking out the soul tool, anyone who tries to surround them will be easily sent flying, at least lightly injured. The three strongest old ancestors, with the soul tool in hand, rushed to kill Yi Tianyun. With the support of the soul tool and the stimulation of the blood qi in their body, their combat power has reached 170,000, a terrifying number. If they were a little younger, they would definitely be even more terrifying. Brat, don't be arrogant. Old ancestor Wen Tian roared, waved the chaotic heaven's sacred axe in his hand, and fiercely chopped down at Yi Tianyun. A golden light flashed as if the space was going to be cut in half. The terrifying light directly locked on to Yi Tianyun's aura, leaving him nowhere to escape. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed coldly, and he waved the blood fiend divine spear in his hand, aimed at old ancestor Wen Tian, and a towering murderous aura surged out of his body. Coupled with the dragon god's secret art, he exerted the dragon god bloodline in his body to the extreme, and a blood-colored divine dragon coiled around his body and the spear. Roar. A dragon roar sounded, as if the blood of the dragon race had merged with the surrounding murderous aura, turning him into a huge blood dragon that soared on the ground. Break. Gently spitting out a word, Yi Tianyun turned into a blood light penetrating through the air. The blade light instantly collapsed. Like a punctured bubble, it disappeared as soon as it touched the blade light. This blade light looks very overbearing, but in front of Yi Tianyun, it is so fragile. Boom! In the end, the domineering spear pierced through old ancestor Wen Tian, and then he was sent flying, the chaotic heaven's sacred axe in his hand falling to the ground. After flying for some distance, he landed heavily on the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood. There was a huge bloody hole in his body, and it was in the position of his heart. His internal organs were directly smashed by the spear, and he had no choice but to die. Chapter 95. Old Ancestor. When Tian was killed by Yi Tianyun's spear, there was a big hole in his chest, his whole body twitched a little, he opened his mouth, he wanted to say something, but he was seriously injured, plus his body is old, he has already reached the point where he can't speak. Immediately, his head tilted and he died. In addition to dying with his eyes wide open, there is no other movement. Ding successfully killed Old Ancestor when Tian gained 120,000 EXP, 3000 crazy point, obtained Chaotic Heaven set, Chaotic Heaven Sacred Axe, low-grade soul tool, Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor, low-grade soul tool, Chaotic Heaven Battle Boots, low-grade soul tool. Yi Tianyun looked at the Old Ancestor who surrounded him coldly, just a look and they are scared to retreat. The strongest Old Ancestor when Tian was killed by a spear, the rest of the Old Ancestors are not as good as Old Ancestor when Tian, what can they do? The Old Ancestor of Jade Palace gasped, they all saw Yi Tianyun before, a waste without blood chi. Some Old Ancestors are not very happy, after all, this is left by the previous palace lord, and it is against the rules. If it wasn't for Shi Shuiyun protecting Yi Tianyun, she said that if Yi Tianyun is kicked out, she will choose to leave Jade Palace. With this as a threat, many Old Ancestor chose to recognize Yi Tianyun. The position of palace lord can't move Shi Shuiyun at all, she would rather leave with Yi Tianyun than stay in Jade Palace. Otherwise, they will really kick Yi Tianyun out, this is already benevolent, if it was someone else, they would have already slapped him to death. Now the power shown by Yi Tianyun completely suppressed them, it can be said that a spear can leave a hole in their body. Old Ancestor when Tian was killed in a second, how can they be afraid of him? Elder Mou and the others are also dumbfounded, they haven't seen Yi Tianyun for a while, it seems that Yi Tianyun's cultivation has increased again? How did he cultivate his cultivation? They tried their best but couldn't improve it, and these Old Ancestors also cultivated their whole life to reach this level. Shi Shuiyun's eyes flickered with excitement. Jiu Lingyun was the same. She blushed when she saw Yi Tianyun. This was her young master Yi. So what if I'm arrogant? Let me see who can be more arrogant than me. After Yi Tianyun said this, he immediately turned into a red light and rushed towards the Old Ancestor. The Old Ancestor was so scared that he wished he had an extra leg. He turned around and ran, but how could his speed compare to Yi Tianyun's? In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of him. The blood fiend divine spear pierced through, easily piercing through his aged body. Ding successfully killed Old Ancestor Tian Feng, gained 110,000 EXP, 2,700 crazy points, Heavenly Imperial Divine Palm, low-grade Earth level martial art, Rushing Thunder Step, low-grade Earth level martial art, Heaven Shaking Divine Stone, low-grade Soul Tool. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed, and he continued to pursue his opponent. No matter how the opponent tried to resist, Yi Tianyun's attack was easily broken by Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun's cultivation wasn't low, but after quadrupling his strength, who can stop him? If his cultivation was at first level core condensation, he wouldn't be able to fight against them, but now it's different. His cultivation was now at level 8 of core condensation stage, which had quadrupled. Coupled with the Dragon God's secret art and other top-notch martial arts, the explosive power of his attack was unstoppable. Ding successfully killed. He is like a bloodthirsty demon, crazily harvesting the cultivators around him. The others are also not idle, they are helping to clear the invaders, they don't have the slightest mercy. With a slash of the blade, a life is gone. Outside of Jade Palace, the ground has been stained with a layer of blood, the ground is full of blood smell. But the only one who looks like a demon is Yi Tianyun, his whole body is releasing bloody evil chi, like a demon climbing out of the abyss, devouring everything. We surrender, we surrender. 5 of the 6 Old Ancestor who came here were killed, the remaining 1 hurriedly retreated, looked at Yi Tianyun in horror and said, "We retreat, we retreat, we will never step into Jade Palace again. What's the use of surrendering now? When you forced us, didn't you think of letting us go?" Old Ancestor Bing Exen and the others glared at this old ancestor and pounced on him, wanting to kill this old ancestor. "Let me." Yi Tianyun's eyes are cold, the blood fiend divine spear flashed, the power instantly increased to the peak, as if poking a piece of paper easily pierced. "Ah!" The patriarch let out a blood-curdling scream as he was sent flying. He lay on the ground, twitched his body, and then breathed no more. Looking at the old ancestor lying on the ground, Tianyun nodded. He can't let old ancestor Bing Exen kill this elite monster. It's too wasteful. This is EXP. This is a treasure. Ding! Successfully killed heaven-burning old ancestor, gained 100,000 EXP, 2500 crazy point, burning heaven secret art, low-grade earth level martial art. Wind fire palm, low-grade earth level martial art. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun. Successfully broke through to 9th level core condensation. Finally, after killing 6 old ancestor, plus a lot of deacons and elders, Yi Tianyun's cultivation finally rose to 9th level core condensation. Now he needs too much EXP, although he has more than 100,000 EXP, even so, he still needs to kill a dozen or 20 to reach the required EXP to level up. The higher the level, the harder it is to level up. This is inevitable, and now he still needs to kill a dozen or 20, otherwise he would need more. Kill. Yi Tianyun put away the blood fiend divine spear and changed to frost fist. The murderous aura suddenly disappeared, the surrounding pressure suddenly disappeared. Soon after, a streak of frost fell from the sky, and with a bang, many people were frozen. This frost fist can't cause any damage to the 6 old ancestor, so he immediately used his soul tool. Now that the 6 old ancestor are killed, he will use frost fist. He needs to practice proficiency. Don't even think about leaving. Absorbing Star's great technique. Yi Tianyun raised his hand. Under his terrifying suction force, several people around him were fiercely sucked over, sticking to his palm. The spiritual energy in their bodies was continuously extracted and turned into rich experience. If he extracted the spiritual power of the 6 old ancestor at will, he will definitely get a lot of EXP, definitely more EXP than killing them. He gets EXP when he absorbs, and EXP when he kills. Under the double superposition, he will level up even faster. Under the reasonable elimination of many people, most of the old ancestor was finally cleared. All the elites brought by the 3 major forces were completely eliminated. The rest are estimated to be some outer disciples, and there are also ordinary disciples staying in the sect. Chapter 96. Looking at the pile of corpses in front of them, some of them didn't experience this kind of killing. They can't bear to look at this side. Some of them vomited. The smell of blood was too strong. The blood that flowed out from the corpses dyed the snow-covered ground red. Those who have experienced this kind of battle are still calm. This is normal for them. The weak are prey to the strong. If they don't resist, they will die. It's finally over. Yi Tianyun looked at the pile of corpses in front of him. His eyes are cold. There is no trace of pity. If he showed even the slightest bit of mercy, he would only bring death upon himself. This is mercy to the enemy. It is equal to cruelty to himself. Immediately, the disciples of Jade Palace began to clean up these corpses and roll up the spoils of war. But now there is a big problem, that is the disciples who chose to surrender. Now they don't know what to do. But one thing can be known, they regret it. They didn't expect Jade Palace to be so strong. Now they don't know what to do with them. Will they kill them, or choose to let them go? At least those traitors have been beheaded on the spot, no mercy at all. When they rebelled, they were doomed to die. Palace Lord, what should we do with them? Elder Mo, you looked at Shi Shuiyun and asked. Let them go, there is no reason to keep them. After all, they did nothing wrong, they just chose their own way of survival. Shi Shuiyun waved her hand, indicating that they can leave. Thank you, Palace Lord. After they were pardoned, they knelt down, kowtowed to Tianyun, and quickly fled. It is impossible for them to continue to stay in Jade Palace, and in the future, Jade Palace will not take them in. Sure, Shuayun didn't blame them. It's just a good time to get rid of a group of disloyal disciples. The remaining disciples are worthy of training. Yun, if it wasn't for you this time. Sure, Shuayun just wanted to thank her. Yun reached out and covered her mouth. To be honest, according to my previous temperament, everything I do is for Aunt. In fact, what happens to Jade Palace has nothing to do with me. It just so happens that I am now an elder of Jade Palace, so naturally I have a part in Jade Palace. Protecting Jade Palace is my duty. Tianyun's words were filled with righteousness, causing many disciples to look over, feeling extremely touched. Elder E, you're so cool. We'll listen to you from now on. That's right, Elder E, you were too amazing just now. It's great that you can become our elder. From now on, we'll do whatever Elder E asks us to do. They all crowded around him, their cheeks like flowers, and their eyes were filled with admiration. Ding. Completed protection achievement, obtained permanent title Guardian. Wearing it will permanently double your defense. Tianyun was startled. The sudden message gave him a fright. He didn't expect there to be an achievement system. After protecting so many people of Jade Palace, he successfully got the title Guardian. The key is that he can get double the defense power. This was astonishing. The effects were so heaven-defying, doubling one's defensive strength. What kind of concept was that? He investigated the title Guardian, and immediately showed the detailed information. Guardian title, double the defense power. Protect companions with more than 100 favorability points in a crisis for 500 people. He immediately knew what was going on with this condition. He protected them once before, but their favorability with Tianyun didn't exceed 100, so this achievement couldn't be completed. Now it's different. In the case of favorability breaking 100, he saved them in this crisis and completed the achievement quest at once. I can't see the achievement quest here, but I believe the conditions must be very harsh. Tianyun also wanted to see if there are other achievement quests, but he can't see them here. After all, seeing the amazing effect of the Guardian title, he can imagine that the title he gets in the future will bring even more amazing effect. Tianyun is so popular, the old ancestor is embarrassed. Now Tianyun's cultivation is higher than them, and the most important thing is that they were very angry at the beginning and wanted to drive Tianyun out. The three old ancestor looked at each other, and old ancestor Bing Xen walked out and said embarrassedly that, Elder E, I'm sorry, we shouldn't have treated you like this. I hope you can forgive us for our previous mistakes. The three of them are willing to bow their heads and apologize for what they did in the past. It's not easy for them to apologize at their age. I don't care about the past, not now, not in the future. I only listen to my aunt's orders, there is no need for the rest. Tianyun's words are still so straightforward, it's impossible to erase the past so easily. He still clearly remembers the days when he and Sure Shuayun were dependent on each other. Everyone looked at him with disdain. Since he was asked to be an elder by Sure Shuayun, he will fulfill his duty and protect Jade Palace. Of course, the most important thing is to protect Sure Shuayun and Jiulingyun. Otherwise, he ordered Snow Wolf to protect the entire Jade Palace, not just the two of them. He is so biased, so selfish. Not only women hold grudges, but men also hold grudges. If it weren't for his strong cultivation, he believed that they would never bow their heads, they would still look at him with disdain. They are embarrassed, but at least Tianyun didn't turn around and leave. How can you talk to your elders like that? Sure Shuayun gently knocked on his head and smiled. But I like it. When the old ancestors thought that Sure Shuayun will help them, it seems that they were wrong. She would rather leave Jade Palace to protect Tianyun. So what respect for elders is nothing? She was born a rebel, but she rebelled for her loved ones. The other three elders showed a bit of a wry smile, but they can't say anything. Now that Tianyun is so strong, they should call him senior. Even if he is much younger than them, it's enough that his cultivation is higher than them. This is the rule of the master. Those with strong cultivation have to call him senior. The same goes for the three old ancestors. Well, let's hurry up and clean up this place. After a while, we will visit them in person and uproot the three forces. Sure Shuayun's eyes are cold and murderous. Chapter 97. Lee Tianyun doesn't need to participate in the rest of the cleaning work, but he can send Snow Wolf to help, so he can stay in Jade Palace. The rest of the finishing work is not very difficult. It is to seize all the assets of the three forces and put them into the property of Jade Palace. If left there, it will only be left there, or taken away by those disciples. So they will immediately send people to sweep the place. This process is not difficult, so Shi Shueyun and the others quickly sent people to sweep the place. Lee Tianyun stayed in Jade Palace, resting leisurely, counting the spoils of war. Because he killed a lot of old ancestors, so the things that dropped are excellent. For example, martial arts are earth level, weapons are soul tool level. Sure enough, killing this kind of super elite monster, the drop rate is amazing, which makes him feel satisfied. Old ancestor level drop rate is high, but I want so many earth level martial arts and weapons, they are useless, I will sell them all. Lee Tianyun didn't keep them, he only has a pair of hands, he kept some that are very good, the rest are sold, or integrated into weapons to enhance his Frost Fist. What dropped can never be upgraded, the effect is relatively limited, it is not a heaven-defying level weapon, so he either sell it or buy it and integrate it into weapons to enhance his Frost Fist. This is the most difficult thing for him, the crazy point is relatively small, whether to sell it to upgrade or integrate it to upgrade, this is a difficult decision. Soul Tool level and Earth level martial arts, the price is almost 10,000 crazy point, this is not a small number. There are not so many old ancestors for me to kill, it is really difficult to earn. Tianyun shook his head, crazy point can only be obtained by doing quests, killing monsters and then selling things. In this area, there are very few strong monsters, so it is much more difficult to earn crazy point. After hesitating, he finally decided to upgrade Frost Fist first. This is a freezing divine tool. If the grade cannot be upgraded, it will be a waste. First upgrade this weapon, try to insert the soul tool level into it and see. Lee Tianyun tried to insert all the spirit tools that he obtained before. Do you want to fuse the Frost Blade into the Frost Fist? Ding, integration successful, plus 3,000 proficiency. Increase so much? But it is also normal, this is an upper grade spirit tool, increase so much in one go. Merge again. Will, Lee Tianyun fused all the spirit tools he had obtained before, including the old spirit tool that he had on him before, all of them were fused together. Finally, there was a pleasant voice, ding. Successfully upgraded Frost Fist to medium-grade spiritual weapon. Next level requires 30,000 proficiency points. Attack range increased to 500 meters. Lee Tianyun slapped his thigh, it really is worth it. Just as he was about to continue fusing, he suddenly thought of something. He slapped his head and shouted, "Am I stupid? I can forge my own weapon and try it out. Come to think of it, I've never tried it before. What will the price be if I forge my own weapon and sell it to the system?" Then he immediately refined a superior grade spiritual weapon and placed it in his inventory. Like before, there was an option to sell it. Do you want to sell the upper grade spirit sword? The price is 1,000 crazy points. High grade spirit tool is only 1,000 crazy point. But it's good, at least it's better than the one I got from lottery draw, which only sells for a few hundred points. Most importantly, I can refine it. Lee Tianyun's eyes lit up. He had been too busy previously, so he hadn't thought about these things. Only now did he remember that he could do this. I'm not selling. Let's upgrade this Frost Fist first. Do you want to fuse the high-grade spirit sword into the Frost Fist? Ding, successfully integrated into Frost Fist, increasing 1,000 proficiency. Since the Frost Fist was successfully upgraded to a middle-grade spirit weapon, the proficiency gained was much less. However, this was still acceptable. In any case, it was enough for him to be able to forge upper-grade spiritual weapons. Then he continued to stuff all the spirit artifacts that he didn't need into the game and madly increased his proficiency. Ding. Successfully upgraded the Frost Fist to a high-grade spiritual weapon. The freezing effect has been doubled, and the freezing range has been increased to 600 meters. The next level requires 50,000 proficiency points. Cool. Tianyun exclaimed. He must at least upgrade it to a soul tool, otherwise the effect would be limited. Fuse again. Then he madly fused it, even throwing in a soul tool. When he learned that the thing he refined can be sold, and the price is not low, he was very willing to throw in the fusion to increase proficiency. This thing is more difficult to increase proficiency. It takes a lot of practice to increase proficiency. If punching the air can increase proficiency, he would have already upgraded the Frost Fist. Of course, the result is not like this. Only when he attacks the real enemy can he increase proficiency. Ding. Successfully upgraded the Frost Fist to a low-grade spiritual weapon. The freezing effect has been quadrupled, the freezing range has been increased to 1 kilometer, the attack has been carried with the freezing domain, the speed within 2 meters is super slow. The next level requires 200,000 proficiency points. When successfully upgraded to a soul tool, the effect has been doubled, and several more attributes have been added, which really made Tianyun exclaim. It's just that the next level requires more proficiency points. Weapons are relatively easy to upgrade, but martial arts are more difficult to upgrade. Tianyun frowned. The Dark North Divine Art requires 100,000 proficiency points at the beginning. It's crazy. Forget it, upgrade it, it's useless to sell it for crazy points. This time Tianyun is much more straightforward. He will not be as entangled as before. The Earth-level martial arts, including Soul Calming Secret Art that he obtained from killing the old ancestor, were stuffed in. Ding. Successfully integrated Soul Calming Secret Art, Dark North Divine Art gained 20,000 proficiency points. Ding. Successfully integrated, Tianyun entered the crazy fusion state again. When almost all the Earth-level martial arts were stuffed in, he finally upgraded these 2 Earth-level martial arts from low-grade Earth-level martial arts to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts in one go. It's not like before, from human-level martial arts to Earth-level martial arts in one go, that is, from Earth-level martial arts to Heaven-level martial arts, but upgraded to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts first. Successfully upgraded Dark North Divine Art to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts. The throughput has been doubled. The next level requires 300,000 proficiency points. Successfully upgraded Absorbing Stars Great Technique to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts. The absorption rate has been increased by 4 times. The next level requires 200,000 proficiency points. Both were upgraded to middle-grade Earth-level martial arts, among which the Absorbing Stars Great Technique required relatively low proficiency points. In essence, it is worse than Dark North Divine Art, and it is an extended version of Dark North Divine Art. Of course, the proficiency required is lower. Chapter 98. Dark North Divine Art and Absorbing Stars Great Technique have been successfully upgraded. He can't do anything about the next level. All the basic martial arts have been used up, and the rest is the most basic martial arts. Unless he can buy them in the mall, but the price is too high. This is the only way for the time being, unless I have too much crazy point, otherwise I really can't upgrade anymore. Then Tianyun looked at his property bar. All the details are listed. Player, Tianyun level, 29, 9th level core condensation, EXP, 38728 crazy point prestige, 130 points cultivation technique, Dark North Divine Art, Dragon God Secret Art, Xian Tian Divine Art Martial Arts, Absorbing Stars Great Technique, Blood Fiend Soaring Heaven Weapon, Frost Fist, Blood Fiend Divine Spear, Sword of Endlessness, Chaotic Heaven Sacred Axe, Low-Grade Soul Tool, Armor, Divine Armor, Shadow Cloak, Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor, Low-Grade Soul Tool, Chaotic Heaven Battle Boots, Low-Grade Soul Tool, Divine Ability, Crazy Mode, Luck Aura Bloodline, Dragon God Bloodline Decoration, Forging God Hammer, Power Bracelet, Power Ring, Power Belt, Blood Fiend Bracelet. All items. 27 Recovery Medicinal Pill, Gift Pack LV31, Life X1, Bad Luck Divine Pill Treasure, Purple Fire Divine Furnace, Appraisal I Title. Guardian Tianyun shook his head when he saw that the EXP required was 3.5 million. It was too much to ask for. He needs to kill a lot of core condensation cultivators or demon beasts to upgrade it. But he cleared out a lot of things, such as those martial arts that he doesn't need. Immediately he focused on the set. This is the set that dropped from killing Old Ancestor Wention. He immediately equipped it. You have successfully equipped the Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor and the Chaotic Heaven Combat Boots. The two-piece set's attributes: double defense power and movement speed. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. This set is worthy of being a soul tool. It's much better than the Snow Wolf Battle Boots, otherwise he wouldn't sell them. Snow Wolf Battle Boots can't be upgraded, so he sold it. Continue to equip the Chaotic Heaven's Sacred Axe. Yi Tianyun equipped the Chaotic Heaven's Sacred Axe. Shortly after, a huge axe fell into his hands. It was covered with a dense layer of divine runes. A chaotic aura was released from the axe, giving him a feeling that he could split space apart with a single slash. Ding! Successfully equipped the Chaotic Heaven's Sacred Axe. Three-piece set. Attributes: defense doubled, movement speed tripled, strength doubled. The attributes of the perfect equipment set were displayed. This time, not only did his movement speed increase, his strength was also doubled. Sure enough, the set was perfect. It was much better than picking up a weapon alone. Very good. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. Just this set of equipment has increased his combat power by 60,000 points. Overall combat strength was actually a very vague concept. It didn't mean that one's damage was particularly high. If one's defense was very high, one's overall combat strength would still be able to be heaven-defying. But it doesn't mean that he can easily kill others. Therefore, this 60,000 battle power, if really counted in the battle damage, is only 20,000 to 30,000 points. He did a quick check and found that his total combat power had reached 110,000. Without using Berserk mode, he has reached 110,000 battle power. Does this mean that in Berserk mode, he can reach 400,000 battle power? The answer is, of course, impossible. This is to increase the damage, not the defense. Not bad. This time, even if I face a Spirit Core stage powerhouse, I should be able to deal with it. Yi Tianyun has never fought with a Spirit Core stage powerhouse, so he is not very clear about how strong the opponent is. Immediately, after cleaning up, he walked out of the room. Just as he walked out, he saw a disciple standing next to him waiting. "Elder, you came out. The palace master asked you to look for her after you come out." The disciple said, "And is looking for me?" Yi Tianyun smiled. Even if Shi Shuiyun didn't look for him, he would have gone to look for her. Immediately, he went to the main hall and found Shi Shuiyun. Just as he entered the room, he saw Shi Shuiyun discussing with several elders. The old ancestors have gone back to their seclusion. They don't have much time left, so the affairs of the palace have nothing to do with them. Moreover, there is Shi Shuiyun to deal with everything, so there is no need to worry. "Tianyun, you are here." When Shi Shuiyun looked up and saw Yi Tianyun, she smiled slightly. "Palace master, you called me?" Yi Tianyun walked in and asked. "Yes, we have mostly cleaned up. There are only a few disciples left from the three forces, so it was quickly cleaned up without any accidents. This time, we have collected some weapons, a few medicinal pills, but most of them are spirit herbs. Among them, Wing Sect has a lot of materials. You happen to know how to refine tools, so we plan to give these materials to you to refine." Shi Shuiyun smiled. "This is just right." Yi Tianyun smiled and said, "Why don't you give me all the collected spirit herbs?" "Why, do you know an alchemist?" Shi Shuiyun asked. "My good aunt, didn't I say before, I know alchemy?" Yi Tianyun is not willing to call her palace master, so he directly called her aunt. He is a little helpless. He has already said it once before, but Shi Shuiyun did not take it seriously. You really know alchemy? I forgot about this. After all, you have never done alchemy before." They all showed a shocked expression. Not only can he refine tools, but also alchemy? Is this really possible? "Yes, I also have this soul tool level purple fire divine furnace. Do you think I can refine pills?" He took out the purple fire divine furnace and held it in the palm of his hand. When they saw it, they were shocked. This is a soul tool level alchemy furnace. It is more valuable than a middle-grade soul tool. The two are not the same concept. Weapons are weapons, treasures are treasures. In fact, Aunt, even if you didn't ask me to come, I was going to come. Tianyun smiled and said, after this war, the strength of Jade Palace is obviously too weak. I suggest to use our reputation this time to expand the recruitment of disciples. As for weapons and pills, I will refine them and train a large number of disciples in spirit refinement realm as the backbone. This time we raided the home of the three major forces. We got a lot of martial arts. We can use it. Great, Tunyun, you think the same as me. Sure, Shuayun was surprised. Of course, don't you know what relationship I have with you? Tianyun smiled. The two of them have a tacit understanding. The three elders looked at each other. It seems that there are still a lot of steps left. Although they got a lot of things from raiding the house, but it is still limited, especially in terms of pills. They need to refine them. Now, with Tianyun's help, it is undoubtedly much easier. Then, we will work hard to train disciples, promote the entire Jade Palace to a second-level force. We can't let other forces look down on us. Tianyun firmly said. Chapter 99. Tianyun suddenly thought of something. He gently waved his hand. A lot of human-level martial arts and earth-level martial arts appeared on the table. These are all taken out from heaven's immersing ancient ruins. He didn't integrate them, nor did he sell them. He planned to give them to Jade Palace. These are human-level martial arts and earth-level martial arts. When Shi Shuayun and the others saw this pile of things, they were suddenly shocked, especially earth-level martial arts, which is extremely rare. Shi Shuayun picked up one or two of them and was shocked. Where did this come from? And there are so many of them, they look good. Although we raided 3 forces, but by the time we arrived, most of the martial arts were already taken, so the number of martial arts we can take is relatively small. You just happen to fill the biggest gap. When they first raided the Jade Palace, the things they got were materials, some weapons and pills. The old ancestors of the 3 forces were killed. Other forces must have heard the news, or the disciples who stayed inside heard that they were going to attack, so they immediately took what they could. So when they arrived, those that were too far away were all taken away. On the contrary, the materials were taken the least. Most of them took the finished products. This is a long story. In fact, I got it from heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Wait for a while, I will tell Aunt. Tianyun laughed. From heaven's immersing ancient ruins. I almost forgot to ask you, it's obviously closed. How can you come out? Shi Shuayun was puzzled. The other elders are the same. We will talk about this next time. Let's refine pills first, then start training disciples. That is the focus now. Tianyun didn't say it. He planned to only take Shi Shuayun. The less people know about this, the better. Shi Shuayun nodded and didn't ask much. Shi Shuayun didn't ask. The other elders are even more embarrassed to ask more. After discussing the plan, Tianyun immediately began to refine weapons and pills. He is now intermediate blacksmith master, and will soon enter advanced blacksmith master. It was the same for beginner alchemy expert. After refining a batch of pills, he would definitely be able to advance to intermediate alchemy expert. After all the materials were in his hands, he began to refine crazily. His priority was to refine the body refining elixir. He refined them one by one. It was actually very simple for him to complete this mainline task. That is, it was enough to constantly strengthen the disciples of the body refinement stage. Therefore, a lot of body refining pills were needed. Only by taking body refining pills would one's cultivation speed increase. Unlike Tianyun, they didn't have this system, so their cultivation speed wasn't that fast. Even taking the body refining elixir would take a long time to achieve this goal. Of course, it wouldn't take too long. At least, with a large number of body refining pills, the time would be greatly reduced. Tianyun didn't know how long he had been refining one furnace after another. Every time he refined, he would be able to refine dozens of body refining pills. He didn't know how many furnaces he had refined. Ding! Successfully refined the body refining pill. The reward is 3,000 experience points. Alchemy proficiency increased by 50 points. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun. Beginner alchemy expert successfully upgraded to intermediate alchemy expert. Finally succeeded. Yi Tianyun's heart was filled with joy. After refining for so long, he finally succeeded in upgrading his level. According to this level, he was already equivalent to a 4th grade alchemist, which was considered a relatively high level. At least at this age, there were very few people who could surpass him. However, he didn't stop refining but increased the intensity and continued to refine the body refining pills. Due to the improvement of his alchemy expert, this time he increased the number of pills he refined to hundreds. The increase in level was not useless. Whether it was the speed of refining or the success rate, there was a significant increase. It was just that repeating this process was obviously a bit boring. As he continued, he refined batch after batch of pills until he finished refining all the materials he needed. After refining the pill materials, he began to refine weapons, all of which were high-grade spiritual weapons. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun, intermediate blacksmith upgraded to advanced blacksmith. Good! Yi Tianyun slapped his thigh. Finally, he also upgraded to advanced blacksmith. This meant that his success rate in refining high-grade spiritual weapons was basically full. With his good luck, he could refine perfectly every time. Start refining. Like a madman, he began to refine day and night again. Young master, don't you want to rest? It's time to eat? Xiao Lian walked in with the rice, looking at Yi Tianyun continuously refining things with a face full of worry. These days, she had been serving Yi Tianyun. It should be said that it had never changed, it was always her serving Yi Tianyun. Sister Xiao Lian, you're here. Yi Tianyun stopped and turned to look at Xiao Lian and said, these are your pills and weapons. Right, there are also some silver, these are all for you. Xiao Lian looked at the storage ring handed over, she suddenly froze and didn't know what was going on. Young master, I can't accept any of this. I can't accept any of this. Xiao Lian's cultivation was not high, but she was also at the 6th or 7th level of the body refinement stage. If she had enough pills, she could still break through. You've taken care of me these days, it's already the best credit. Tianyun stuffed the storage ring to her and said with a faint smile, these days, I saw that you were distracted. Are you missing home or your parents at home? Xiao Lian was not an orphan. She had parents, but they were not here, but in a remote countryside. For the past few days, she had been absent-minded, as if she was thinking about something. She stood there in a daze, and no one knew what she was thinking about. Young master? Xiao Lian's eyes were red, but she shook her head. Say it, we are not strangers, we grew up together, I treat you as my sister. Yi Tianyun's expression became serious, he knew that things will not be simple. My father is seriously ill at home, there is no money at home, Xiao Lian thought about it and cried. Sister Xiao Lian, why don't you tell us? Yi Tianyun grabbed her shoulder and said, take these things back, I will refine some recovery pills for you to bring back, your father will definitely recover. Isn't it just money, I prepared a few hundred gold for you, is that enough? But, I didn't do much to resist those intruders, I just hid on the side, how can I take these things? Xiao Lian shook her head and refused. If you treat me as the young master, then bring these things back. If you want to repay us, cultivate hard, improve your cultivation, and contribute to Jade Palace in the future, this is the best repayment. Yi Tianyun solemnly said, and this is your father's situation, such a big thing, why didn't you tell us? Although Xiao Lian joined Jade Palace, it doesn't mean she is rich, plus she has been serving him, she has no time to go back. Now that Jade Palace is so busy, it is obviously unreasonable to leave without permission. So even if her father is seriously ill, she didn't choose to go back. Xiao Lian immediately nodded, then I don't need too many things, I just need some medicinal pills, I will go back to heal my father and come back immediately. Sister Xiao Lian, you don't need to come back so soon, the situation here is okay. I don't need anyone's help, just go back and take care of your father after a while, I will come back to you. Yi Tianyun smiled. He really treats Xiao Lian as his own sister, other people just roll their eyes at him, only Xiao Lian and Shi Shuiyun are good to him. Just this point alone, How can he not care about Xiao Lian? Young master? Xiao Lian bit her lips and finally nodded. Young master's great kindness, Xiao Lian will never forget. She was about to kneel down, but immediately Yi Tianyun helped her up. Sister Xiao Lian, how can you be like this? Yi Tianyun said with a straight face. Do you think that I am a different person now that my cultivation is stronger? This Xiao Lian didn't dare to look at Yi Tianyun. There is no doubt that her expression has already answered the question. Yi Tianyun's cultivation is getting stronger and stronger, has become unattainable, not like the previous young master who needs to be taken care of. Whether it is the answer or anything else, she has to be respectful, not daring to talk nonsense. I am still the same person. Whether it is now or in the future, I will not change. Sister Xiao Lian, you will always be my sister. Yi Tianyun smiled and said, don't be too restrained in front of me, just treat me as the previous young master. Young master? Xiao Lian looked at him, her eyes are red again, tears are constantly falling, like a broken string of dew, constantly dripping on the ground. No wonder Xiao Lian doesn't talk to me, it turns out that she is too afraid of me. Tianyun sighed deeply, it seems that he has neglected the people around him. Chapter 100. A week later, Yi Tianyun came out of his room. His whole body looked messy. He didn't care about his appearance at all. He stayed in his room to refine things for so long. How can his image still be good? When he entered the main hall, many of the disciples saw him and began to laugh. It looked a little too funny. Usually, it looked bright and clean, but today, it looked messy and strange. And, I'm here. Yi Tianyun came over with a smile. Thanks for your hard work. Shi Shuiyun looked at Yi Tianyun coming over. She didn't laugh at him like other people, but thanked him gently. Over the past few days, she had been busy as well. She had been continuously recruiting more disciples. Due to the publicity this time, many cultivators had joined. Even some talented cultivators who can join second-level sect came to join Jade Palace. But this time, Jade Palace is more strict than before. Before there was a traitor, so they are more cautious, they must have a clean background, they don't want anyone who doesn't have a clean background. So in the selection of disciples, the talent can be low, but the background must be clean enough. This is more important than anything, no matter how talented you are, if you are stabbed in the back, you are still trash. So these days, she didn't have time to see Tianyun's situation, she is busy here. But her heart is always worried about Yi Tianyun, especially her beautiful eyes, full of concern and worry, but more than that, exhaustion. She is also physically and mentally exhausted, otherwise she would have gone to see Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun's heart is touched, only his aunt will not care about anything. No matter what situation he is in, she is willing to stay with him. Just a single sentence was already enough. It's not hard, I have already refined a batch, if it is not enough, I will continue to refine. Yi Tianyun smiled. Then come over here. The elders are all in the examination hall. Shi Shuiyun took him to the assessment hall, where there are dozens of disciples waiting here, ready to take the assessment. Everyone's expression is nervous, whether they can join Jade Palace or not depends on this assessment result. Great Elder, let's pause the examination for a moment. Let's go back to the room and distribute the items, Shi Shuiyun said. When the Great Elder saw Elder Yi, she immediately stood up. They all knew what to do. However, Yi Tianyun's appearance attracted the attention of many girls who were preparing to join. They sized up Yi Tianyun curiously. I heard that there is only one male elder in Jade Palace, is that him? You look messy. What did you do just now? I heard that he's very powerful. I wonder if that's true? Many girls discussed, as the only male elder of Jade Palace, they are very curious. The most important thing was that the rumors outside were saying that Yi Tianyun was very powerful, even more powerful than the palace master. There were also rumors saying that he was a demon who killed without blinking an eye. There were all kinds of rumors, and the more they spread, the more exaggerated they became. Wait, Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand to block, and immediately in full view of everyone he waved his hand, and all the weapons and pills were released by him, piled up in this examination hall. There are dozens of upper-grade spirit tools, and even more than a dozen superb spirit tools. In addition, there is a large number of body-refining pill. Other people have a bottle, but he piled them up. It looks like there are more than 100 bottles, and it looks like this bottle is not small. They don't know how many pills are inside. These are the results of refining all the materials. There are dozens of weapons and thousands of pills. This scene is very amazing. The new disciples who joined the examination are also shocked to see this scene. They don't know what pill is in the bottle, but they know what the level of the weapons are. The lowest is upper-grade spirit tool, and the highest is superb spirit tool. As for the level of soul tool, to be honest, Tianyun has a little confidence in forging it, but the materials are too low level. He can't forge it at all, otherwise it will be even more shocking. As the saying goes, it is not good to show your wealth, but he wants to show his wealth, to shock everyone, to let these new disciples know that their Jade Palace has a lot of resources. They can use it on them. These are the resources of Jade Palace. These pills are body refining pill and spirit refining pill. As long as you perform well enough and work hard enough, these things are all yours. Tianyun turned to look at them and said, Sure, Shueyun at this time knows what Tianyun is doing. To put it bluntly, he is tempting them, but also to encourage them. Really, these may all be ours. Really, this is great. These are all spirit tools, and they are all upper-grade spirit tools. There is also superb spirit tool. Oh my God, when I passed by the treasure pavilion, I took a look at the spirit tool. It is much worse than here. They immediately exploded, shocked by these pills and weapons. They didn't expect Jade Palace to be so strong. It is already beyond their imagination. Several elders looked at each other and didn't say anything. It's good to show it here. This scene not only fell into the eyes of the new disciples, but also some of the original disciples of Jade Palace. Their eyes are shining. Yes, these resources are only a small part, whether it is new disciples or already joined disciples. As long as you perform well enough, as long as you are loyal to Jade Palace, we will invest a lot of resources for you. Sure, Shueyun added on the side, letting those disciples who have already joined to cheer up. This is a good thing. Looking at their expression, Tianyun nodded with satisfaction. This is the result he wants. They just joined, and they don't know much about this place, so it is undoubtedly the best choice to shock the new disciples. After explaining, Tianyun and Sure Shueyun went out. There is no material here for the time being. I plan to go buy it myself, and come back after a while. Tianyun smiled lightly. Aunt, I will leave this place to you. This batch of pills should be enough for a while. There is no need. I will order people to buy it. There is no need to go in person. Sure, Shueyun said. It is not that problem. Sister Shaolian's father is seriously ill at home. I plan to go and see him. Sister Shaolian has been taking care of me for a long time. I didn't expect her father to be seriously ill, and she is still staying by his side to take care of me. If I didn't see the situation, I don't think she would go back. Tianyun sighed. Sure, Shueyun was startled and immediately said with a sad face, No wonder I noticed something wrong with her before. It turned out that this kind of thing happened, and she refused to say a word. That's fine, leave it to us. That's good. I will buy some materials by the way. This time we must promote Jade Palace to second-level faction and stabilize Jade Palace's position. In addition to completing the main quest, Tianyun also wants to make Jade Palace stronger. This is Sure Shueyun's painstaking effort. He can't ignore it. Good boy, you are getting more and more like an elder. Didn't you say you don't care about these things? Sure, Shueyun said with a smile. I am worried that Aunt will be too busy, so I will help you. Tianyun smiled. That's fine. Remember to help me in the future. Sure, Shueyun thought for a moment and immediately grabbed Tianyun's hand and said worriedly, Tianyun, you must pay attention to your safety. I know you are very strong now, but there is always someone better than you. Don't cause trouble. If something happens to you, what do you want me to do? As she spoke, her eyes reddened. So many things had happened before, and she had been too worried. Tianyun looked at this pitiful expression. He gently hugged her in his arms and firmly said, Don't worry, I will be fine. If I die, I won't be able to see Aunt again. I swear I will protect Aunt for the rest of my life. Chapter 101. After saying goodbye, Yun tidied up his things and went to the village where Xiao Lian stayed. If it wasn't for Xiao Lian, he would have chosen to come down in person, find those treasure pavilions to buy materials, and then sell them to forge weapons. This way, he can make a lot of money first, then use the materials to forge weapons, and then sell them for crazy points. He just wants to make a lot of crazy points now, otherwise his other martial arts are too difficult to upgrade, and the crazy points required are too much. The next stage is to upgrade Lucky Aura. After trying several times, he knows the importance of this thing. After a battle, it will greatly affect the drop rate. If he wants to make a fortune, he has to rely on it. But now he has to go to Sister Xiaolian's place. It won't be too late to buy them together. He prepared so many medicinal pills, enough for a long time. If I have enough materials, I can forge a lot of soul tools and upgrade them to divine tool. Wouldn't I be invincible? Yun wants to do this, but the process is too long. He is now advanced forging proficiency, he can forge soul tools, but the success rate is only 10%, even with Lucky Aura, the success rate is only 20%. Therefore, in a short period of time, even if he really has a lot of materials, it is still difficult to succeed. The success rate is too low. It is better to try forging a best spirit tool. It is possible to forge one occasionally, but it is impossible to forge it all the time. So he is just thinking about it. Divine tool is not so easy to upgrade, especially now the Frost Fist is only a low-grade soul tool. It is still 3 levels away from divine tool level. The proficiency required will certainly be a lot. Soon after, he found a direction and swiftly headed over. The place where Sister Xiaolian lived was relatively remote. It was further than Tianfeng City, so they had to travel a bit more. Unfortunately, the Snow Wolf is in Jade Palace as a guardian beast, otherwise it will be faster to go there with the Snow Wolf. It is roughly this direction. It seems to be Gong Village. Yun heard the direction from Xiaolian, so he knows how to go, but the exact location is not very clear. After climbing several mountains in a row, he finally saw a small mountain village in the distance. Although he doesn't know if it is Gong Village, but he will know after asking. Something's not right. Yun narrowed his eyes. He could see a group of people killing their way into the village and looting something. Many people were kneeling on the ground, not daring to move. When he continued to look, his expression changed because he saw Xiaolian. Lord Yun, we've already paid the money 3 months ago. Isn't it supposed to be paid once every 6 months? Why do we still have to pay this time? I hope that Lord Yun will let us off this time. We really can't pay anymore. If this goes on, the people in our village will starve to death. The village chief of Gong Village, Wu Lichuan, trembled as he knelt down and begged. Many of the villagers behind him knelt down and begged the group of people to let them go. The group of people in front of them is a group of bandits. The leader is called Yun Tianxing. His cultivation is not low, reaching the 2nd level of spirit refinement realm. The bandits behind him are his subordinates. Their cultivation is above the 4th level of body refinement realm. This group of people's cultivation is not bad, but they don't want to join a sect. After all, there is not enough freedom. If they don't have enough talent, the distribution of resources is pitiful. Being a bandit here is different. They often rob resources. Even if their talent is poor, their cultivation can still rise. The key is to be the king of a mountain. They can rob anything they like. They can rob any girl they like. It's much better than joining a shit sect. Who said we have to pay once every 6 months? We will pay whenever we want. Yun Tianxing glanced at the crowd coldly and said, "Is there anyone else who has any objection? I don't mind taking you back to the village and teaching you a lesson." Most of the people present are old and weak, women and children. There are very few able-bodied men. It is impossible for them to resist. Moreover, they are all cultivators. How can ordinary mortals fight against them? When he said this, many people trembled, but their eyes were filled with anger. They want to resist, but they can't. But we really don't have money. We really can't pay. Yun Tianxing, can you give us some time? After a while, we will pay again. Wu Lichuan knelt down. His old body can't stand the tossing, but Yun Tianxing didn't show any mercy. You can't pay? That's fine. I remember there are a few able-bodied men here. Take them. Yun Tianxing gestured to his men to arrest them. They really have a few able-bodied men here, but they are only 17 or 18 years old. They just grew up not long ago. This scared Wu Lichuan. He quickly got up and said, "We will pay, we will pay." Then he hurriedly gestured to his men to take some money. Then someone took some silver and handed it to Wu Lichuan. Wu Lichuan's body trembled. He raised the silver in his hand and handed it to Yun Tianxing. Although it's not much, but for this small village, it's quite rich. Yun Tianxing squinted at him. He didn't take the silver. Instead, he kicked him. With a pung sound, Wu Lichuan flew out and directly vomited blood. Village head. At this time, Wang Dechuan rushed over and hugged Wu Lichuan. He looked at Yun Tianxing angrily and said, "How can you still hit people? We have already paid the silver." "Why would I hit people? Just now you kept saying that you don't have money, now look at you." Yun Tianxing sneered, "It seems that you still have something to hide. Do you think I don't know? I heard that a beautiful girl came back with a lot of silver. Where is she hiding now?" The villager's face turned pale. They don't know who leaked the news? "If you don't want to tell me, then I will kill you first. If you don't tell me where she is, I will kill you one by one until you tell me." Yun Tianxing took out a long sword and said to Wu Lichuan, "I will start with you, the incompetent village head. If you want to kill the village head, you will have to kill me first." Wang Dechuan stood in front of Wu Lichuan. He is not willing to hand over the village head. He is not afraid of Yun Tianxing. "Oh, you have a backbone?" Yun Tianxing sneered. "Then I will start with you, kill him." Immediately, one of the bandits beside him immediately pulled out his sword and rushed towards Wang Dechuan without hesitation. Wang Dechuan didn't even try to dodge. He blocked the sword head-on. Bang! The sword did not hit Wang Dechuan. Instead, the bandit was kicked and flew out. He fell on the ground, unable to get up. "You bunch of bandits, I am here, don't touch them." Xiao Lian came out of the room and glared at the bandits. Finally she couldn't help but run out. She couldn't stand it anymore. "Xiao Lian, why did you come out?" Wu Lichuan said in a trembling voice. "If you don't come out, they will kill you." Xiao Lian said angrily. "Oh, very kind, I like it." Yun Tianxing licked his lips, looked at her and said, "I heard that you brought back a lot of silver and some pills? Come back with me, I promise I won't hurt you. I will also exempt you from paying for 3 years. How about it?" Chapter 102. Yun Tianxing's answer made them furious. How can this be a good deal? They didn't protect Gong Village in the first place. Now they want to collect protection fees? Isn't this a scam? Now they want to capture Xiao Lian? Isn't this even worse? Dream on. Sister Xiao Lian will never go with you. Wang Dechuan stood up angrily, holding a wooden stick in his hand, but this wooden stick is useless to them. Their cultivation is too low. They can crush him with just a finger. Yun Tianxing completely ignored him, looked at Xiao Lian and said, "Hurry up and make your choice. If you don't come with me, you will watch them get killed one by one. If you choose to obey me, I can waive the protection fees for 3 years, and I won't continue to capture you." Xiao Lian's cultivation is not weak, but he doesn't put her in his eyes. The gap between their cultivation is too big. He can already see it from the situation just now. Xiao Lian gritted her teeth. Now that things had come to this, she had to make a choice. Otherwise, Yun Tianxing will really kill them one by one. He can still capture her. There is no other choice. This is the problem of strength. If you are too weak, you will be slaughtered. There is no other choice. Sister Xiao Lian, let's fight them. Even if we die, we can't let them succeed. Wang Dechuan's resolute and handsome face showed a bit of determination. He is afraid of death. But in the face of these bandits who have been oppressing them, his heart is filled with anger. "Oh, you're quite bold, but you can ask her, is your resistance really useful?" Yun Tianxing said contemptuously, looking down on them. "We would rather die than let Xiao Lian go with you. My son was captured by you. I don't even know if he is dead or alive. I will fight you. Yes, we have been oppressed by you. We have had enough." At this time, the others have stood up. No one chose to kneel down. They are all glaring at them. Of course, they are afraid of death, but if they continue to be oppressed, they are no different from being dead. Don't be so stubborn. Listen to official Yun and let Xiao Lian go with him. This is Xiao Lian's good fortune. At this time, a wretched-looking man came out from the crowd, ran all the way to Yun Tianxing's side and said, "Moreover, we can waive the protection fee for 3 years. This has never happened before. If not for Lord Yun's protection, we would have long been eaten by demonic beasts." "Niu Ji, what nonsense are you spouting?" Wang Dechuan said angrily, "How can they protect us? There are no demon beasts nearby, we don't need their protection." "That's right, Niu Ji. Why are you speaking up for them? Could it be that you were the one who told them about Xiaolian?" At this time, someone immediately guessed what was going on. "Snitch?" Niu Ji sneered and said, "A wise man submits to circumstances. Being trapped here all the time, one will starve to death sooner or later. Furthermore, Xiaolian brought back so many things, yet she only gave us a little. There are still a lot of things that she's unwilling to take out. She's really too stingy." After listening to this, everyone vomited blood. Xiaolian is even more furious. She really didn't take out everything, but she did take out most of the things to distribute, and she really didn't give them anything. So what? She and Niu Ji are not familiar with each other, so it doesn't matter if she gave or not, but she didn't expect that in the end, there was still a traitor. "No, I didn't expect you to be a traitor." Wu Lichuan was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. "I'm a traitor? Don't talk so much nonsense, I'm doing this for your own good." Niu Ji sneered and said, "Quickly obey Lord Yun's order, that's the wisest choice. Do you think you can resist Lord Yun? There is no doubt that he is the traitor, he was the one who told them about it, otherwise, how could Yun Tianxing know about it in such a remote place? No wonder Yun Tianxing came back to collect protection fee in less than half a year. It was all because of Niu Ji that he was able to come back so quickly." "I'll kill you!" Wang Dechuan roared. With a long stick in his hand, he smashed towards Tianyun, but he was quickly stopped by Xiaolian. "Don't be impulsive, you can't fight them." Xiaolian's eyes are also full of anger. She finally came back and distributed a lot of things to the villagers. She didn't expect to find a traitor, and a very dissatisfied traitor. But it's useless to say anything now. Xiaolian knows that this matter won't end easily. Yun Tianxing is so strong, she can't resist. "It seems that you're quite sensible. Tell me your final choice. To be honest, my patience is limited." Yun Tianxing looked down at them. His eyes are full of disdain. Xiaolian looked back at the villagers, finally gritted her teeth and said, "Well, I promise you." She has no choice, so what if she refuses? In front of a strong person, she can't refuse. If she refuses, the villagers will die. "Xiaolian, don't go with them, you bunch of bastards, I'll kill you." At this time, a middle-aged man with a cane ran out of the house, limping, not fast. But after a few steps, he fell to the ground. "Father!" Xiaolian hurriedly ran to her father and helped him up. "Father, why did you come out? Didn't you want to stay in the room and rest?" "I didn't expect her to be his daughter. I remember breaking your leg before. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you are her father. If I knew, I would have been merciful." Yun Tianxing showed a cruel smile. He has no intention to repent. "But since you have chosen to go with me, I will leave you some medicine." Xiao Lian's body trembled. She naturally knew her father's condition. His leg was broken because of Yun Tianxing, not because of a serious illness. Old Lu, it's your daughter's fortune to be able to leave with Lord Yun. Why must you be so stubborn?" Niu Ji chuckled. His wretched expression made others want to give him a slap. "You traitor, get out of here." Old Lu said angrily, "Don't let me see you again, or I will kill you. I don't know who will fight who, and I will go back with Yun Darren. How can I stay in this broken village?" Niu Ji said with an arrogant look. He betrayed Yun Tianxing as a traitor. As compensation, Yun Tianxing took him in. That's why he is so confident. A group of people looked at Niu Ji angrily. Their Gong village, how can there be such a scum? "It's almost time, it's time to go," Yun Tianxing said. Xiaolian's body trembled. She immediately signaled the other villagers to help her take her father back. She immediately stood up and walked towards Yun Tianxing. "Sister Xiaolian, don't go. Xiaolian, come back quickly. Don't go, I will stop them." At this time, Yun Tianxing's men quickly stopped them. They pushed them back. They can't resist at all. Father, you have to take care. Xiao Yan's eyes are red, she can only make this sacrifice. Looking at this scene, Yun Tianxing showed a happy smile. He likes to see this kind of situation the most. I want to see who dares to take you away? At this time, a familiar voice came from outside. Everyone looked up and saw a handsome young man standing outside. His eyes were cold. Chapter 103. Xiao Lian didn't expect Yi Tianyun to really come. Originally she wanted to say that there are a lot of bandits here and she wanted Yi Tianyun to help clear them, but she didn't say it in the end. In addition to the growing gap between them, she felt a sense of inferiority. Yi Tianyun is very busy, so she didn't dare to say it. Now when Yi Tianyun appeared in front of her, she couldn't help but burst into tears. At this most critical moment, Yi Tianyun appeared. This is the same as when Jade Palace was in danger, he appeared in front of her. But that was for Jade Palace. This time it's for herself. Yi Tianyun walked in with cold eyes, glanced at the group of people. He understood the situation here. Fortunately he came quickly, otherwise Xiao Lian would have been taken away. Ding. Do you wish to accept the random quest, Xiao Lian's worry, protect Gong Village? Reward, 50,000 experience points, 30 prestige points, 50 favorability points from Lu Minglian, 100 favorability points from all villagers in Gong Village. Except, he didn't hear what the quest is, but when he heard Xiao Lian's worry, protect Gong Village, he didn't hesitate to accept it. I'd like to see who can take you away. Yi Tianyun looked at them coldly. When he appeared, everyone was stunned, and immediately the bandits burst into laughter. They didn't expect to see a hero. I was wondering who it was. I didn't expect to see a little kid, not even fully grown hair, trying to be a hero? Do you want to be a hero and let Xiao Lian marry you? Niu Ji sneered. He didn't put Yi Tianyun in his eyes at all. Yun Tianxing is the same. He can't see through Yi Tianyun's cultivation, he can't see his depth. He completely treated him as an ordinary person. He came here to show off his power. I don't know where this little white face came from. Kill him. Yun Tianxing reached out his hand and motioned his men to kill him. Following that, his subordinates rushed forward with their blades, and without hesitation, they aimed at Yi Tianyun's body, aiming for his heart. The other villagers couldn't bear to look at this scene, so they turned their heads to the side. Yi Tianyun's eyes turned cold, and he ruthlessly kicked the bandit with his leg. Bang! The bandit was kicked into the forest, and there was no more sound. Ding! Successfully kill bandit, get 600 EXP, 80 crazy point. Killing these small fries, not only the experience is low, but also the crazy point is too low. For him now, it was meaningless. However, he didn't care about the experience points. What he cared about was how to kill these bastards. He walked over step by step, and with just one kick, he made a person disappear. The terrifying power immediately shocked them. This is not bad. I advise you to obediently kneel down and beg for mercy. When Yun Daran beat you up, you will know what regret is. Niu Ji didn't forget to flatter Yun Tianxing. Yun Tianxing was flattered by Yi Tianyun's flattery. He looked at Yi Tianyun with contempt and said arrogantly, "It seems that your cultivation is not bad, but it's not worth mentioning in front of me. I will give you a chance to become my subordinate. Join me, you will be more beautiful than her, you can enjoy her however you want. You are strong, it is not worth it to die for her. For me, it is not worth it to play with her a few times." Say that again? These words suddenly made his voice become extremely cold, like a world of ice and snow raging around. Killing intent surged from his eyes. Yi Tianyun's voice was cold. The anger in his heart was released from his eyes through killing intent. He stared at Yun Tianxing. Yo, your temper is quite big. Yun Daran accepted you as his subordinate, that is your blessing. Niu Ji saw Yun Tianxing full of confidence. He continued to flatter him. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. The power of Dragon's treasure stronghold is not as simple as it seems. You can never imagine how terrifying Dragon's treasure stronghold is. I will give you one last chance, obey or die. Yun Tianxing narrowed his eyes at Yi Tianyun. He didn't have time to be long-winded. If not for Yi Tianyun's ability, he really didn't want to talk too much. Is that so? I only give you one choice, that is to die. Yi Tianyun said coldly. Yun Tianxing's eyes flashed coldly. He slowly walked towards Yun and sneered, I didn't expect you to have such courage. You dare to say such words to me. You have no chance. Even if you kneel down and beg for mercy, you will die. As soon as his voice fell, Yun Tianxing waved his hand and turned it into an eagle claw. He rushed towards Tianyun. The ground slightly sunk. After releasing his spiritual power, Yun Tianxing stomped on the ground, leaving a deep footprint on the ground. He leaped high like a giant eagle, and then aimed at Tianyun's head with his claws. He wants to kill Tianyun. Very good eagle claw. If you are caught by this sharp claw, even a hard head will be crushed. Tianyun is like a fool. He stood motionless in the same place, looking up at Yun Tianxing coming towards his head. Ha! That kid is scared silly. Fighting with Yun Daren is courting death. Niu Ji laughed loudly. The villagers behind Tianyun didn't dare to look at Yun Tianxing, because they have seen Yun Tianxing's attack. No matter what he does, he will definitely die. Quiet as a virgin, quick as a rabbit. Come here. Tianyun's eyes burst with light. He waved his hand like lightning. With an even faster speed, he grabbed Yun Tianxing's wrist and threw him to the ground. Bang! Yun Tianxing was heavily hit on the ground. He almost fainted. The power of this throw is amazing. He almost lost his life. He is still alive, but he felt that several of his bones are broken. Practicing the garbage eagle claw, this is all you got, and you still want to show off in front of me? Tianyun saw through Yun Tianxing's martial art. This is not a popular martial art. He didn't know where he found it, but he just happened to practice it, so he can achieve this level of achievement, but it is still not popular. In this broken place, how can he find a good martial art? Moreover, his cultivation was not high to begin with. Your cultivation. Yun Tianxing, who almost fainted from the fall, was scared out of his wits. Just now when Tianyun attacked him, he immediately knew that he kicked an iron plate, a very thick iron plate. His foundation is much stronger than his. Crack! What answered him was not words, but Tianyun twisted his arm, abruptly broke his arm. Suddenly he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Chapter 104. What? Where's your domineering attitude from before? Tianyun stepped on his arm and looked at him coldly. Please let me go. I was just talking nonsense just now. Please let me go. Just treat me as a fart and let me go. Yun Tianxing screamed in pain. The pain in his arm made him sweat profusely. He almost fainted, but Tianyun is very good at controlling himself. He won't let Yun Tianxing faint so he can't enjoy the pain. Then your fart really stinks me. Tianyun's eyes were cold as he lifted his foot and stomped down hard, breaking his other arm. The degree of ruthlessness left everyone dumbfounded. No one could imagine that a youth would do such a thing. No one knew that when Tianyun was protecting Jade Palace, he killed many of them with his blade, and no one knew how many people he killed. Yun Tianxing screamed again, but he didn't faint. He kept kicking his legs to relieve the severe pain. When they looked up again, Niu Ji and the others were scared silly. Their mouths were wide open, and they didn't know what to do. It's your turn now. Are you ready? Tianyun's eyes were cold. Tianyun's words scared them out of their wits. They turned around and ran into the forest, hating their parents for not giving them 2 more legs. They know that if they don't escape now, they will end up like Yun Tianxing. They don't want to lose their arms. It's no different from dying. Trying to escape? Tianyun's eyes turned cold. He stomped on the ground like a wild beast, and the ground shook under his stomp. In the blink of an eye, he had caught up to Niu Ji. The two of them were not even on the same level. Niu Ji turned his head, and when he saw Tianyun's murderous intent, he felt his crotch was wet, and he almost peed himself. His legs immediately went soft and he rolled forward. After rolling a few rounds, he quickly got up and cried, "My lord, we were wrong. We shouldn't have provoked you. We'll do anything for you. Please let us go." He kept kowtowing, hoping to get forgiveness from Tianyun's mouth, but Tianyun's answer was a heavy kick on his chest. With a bang sound, he flew out like a ball and was kicked back to the village. His injury was not serious, because he wanted the people of Gong village to deal with him personally. The rest of Yun Tianxing's men were much easier to deal with. They chased after them, and with a few kicks, they were all sent flying and lying on the ground. no one knows if they are still alive or not. In fact, when the system notification popped up, Yun Tianxing knew that they were dead, and all of them turned into insignificant EXP and flowed into the system. When he came back, Yun Tianxing was still rolling on the ground in pain. The feeling of broken bones in his arm is not so good. Many of the timid villagers did not dare to look at him, but many of them were happy, and most of them felt relieved. Please, please let me go. Yun Tianxing endured the pain. He knew that he could not resist. He was just a fish on the chopping block. Whether he lives or dies depends on Yi Tianyun's mood. When you said that, you should have thought of the end result. Yi Tianyun said coldly, you played with me once and then threw me away. Who do you think Xiao Lian is, you trash? Even if you die 100 times, you will not be able to appease my anger. I was just kidding. Yun Tianxing said regretfully. If he knew that Yi Tianyun was so strong, he wouldn't have done such a stupid thing. Oh, that's a funny joke. Yi Tianyun kicked Yun Tianxing back to the village. Just like Niuji, he also went back to the village. Then he looked up at the other villagers and said, I am Xiao Lian's younger brother. This time I came to help solve the problem. The rest of them will be dealt with by you. You can do whatever you want. Younger brother? They looked at each other. Since when did Lu Minglian have a younger brother? None of them knew this. But now they have surrounded Niuji and Yun Tianxing. The anger in their eyes, coupled with the weapons in their hands, this is a terrible thing. I am doing this for the village. It has nothing to do with me. Niuji looked at the villagers surrounding them, then looked at Wang Dechuan who was holding a long stick. His heart trembled. Whereas the arrogance from before, now he is just a fart. I suspect that the previous situation in Gong Village was leaked by you. That's why we kept coming here to collect protection fees. No matter what kind of elixir we dug up, it will eventually be leaked to the outside world. At that time we suspected that there was a traitor in the village. I didn't expect it to be you. Wang Dechuan angrily said, you two bastards, go to hell. The group of villagers waved the wooden sticks in their hands and smashed them one after another. All of them were beaten to death by this group of sticks. He hit him as hard as he could. He was beating him to death, venting all the anger he had accumulated over the past few days. Yi Tianyun came in front of Lu Minglian, but he usually doesn't call her full name. He always calls her Sister Xiao Lian. Sister Xiao Lian, it seems that you are not honest. You didn't tell us what happened. Yi Tianyun said with a straight face. If he was slower, the result would have been completely different. I saw that young master was too busy. I didn't dare. Xiao Lian kept wiping her tears with the back of her hand. When she saw Yi Tianyun came, she suddenly loosened her grip. Her legs slightly softened. She fell forward, fell into Yi Tianyun's arms. He hugged her. If something happened to you, do you think Aunt won't be angry? Yi Tianyun can imagine, sure Shueyun for Xiao Lian. In a fit of anger, she will also clean up that so-called dragon's treasure stronghold. But after cleaning up, if Xiao Lian is tainted, what can she do? But, there is no but. It seems that I didn't express my words clearly before. You are already like our family, so don't bury your words in your heart. Say it out loud, okay? Yi Tianyun sighed and said, if something happens to you, we will always be sad. Do you think you are worthy of us? Young master? Xiao Lian's tears kept flowing. When she promised to go back with them, her heart was full of despair. After all, once they go, they will not be able to come back, and the things they will face can be imagined how tragic it is. Ding, successfully completed the task. Reward 50,000 experience points, 30 prestige points. Lu Minglian's favorability points increased by 50 points. All villagers' favorability points increased by 100 points. The reward immediately came out. He easily completed the task, but in his heart he was not happy. Chapter 105. Ahem, Xiaolian, can't you introduce to us who this young hero is? Wu Lichuan and the others came over and saw that Xiao Lian was still in Yi Tianyun's arms. A smile appeared on their faces. They all saw Yi Tianyun's performance just now. He helped them get revenge, so he must be a good person. Lu Minglian hurriedly got up from Yi Tianyun's arms. Her pretty face is full of red. She just fell into Yi Tianyun's arms. Now she was seen. It's very embarrassing. This is young master, the young master of Jade Palace. Lu Minglian hurriedly explained. Young master of Jade Palace? They are at a loss, they don't know much about this kind of thing, they are too far away from here, and besides farming here, they don't do anything else, so they don't know much about the outside world. They also don't know what kind of forces there are outside, at most they know that there is a dragon's treasure stronghold that controls the village here. I remember, it is the place where Sister Xiao Lian joined. I didn't expect Jade Palace to send people to support us. Wang Dechuan patted his thigh excitedly. He walked over and said, Big brother, you are so powerful, can you teach me? If I can be as powerful as you, no one can bully Gong Village. Dechuan, what are you thinking, is it that easy to cultivate? And young master's martial arts can't be taught casually. Lu Minglian glared at him. Wang Dechuan scratched his head and said, I just said it casually, I don't know much about the rules over there. It's okay, I will teach you later, but you have to practice hard, you can't give up halfway. Yi Tianyun laughed. Really? Wang Dechuan was shocked. Of course it's true, do you think I will lie? Yi Tianyun smiled. Of course not, you are our savior. If it weren't for your appearance, Sister Xiaolian would have been captured by that beast. Wang Dechuan laughed. But at this time, Wu Lichuan suddenly patted his head and hastily said, Young hero, I advise you to leave quickly. If the dragon's treasure stronghold's people come, you won't be able to escape. We're preparing to evacuate. We can't stay here any longer. The other people's happy expressions immediately sank, and their faces were full of worry. They didn't want to leave their homes. After all, they didn't have much money on hand, so it was quite difficult for them to go out. Most importantly, their sons were captured and sent to the dragon's treasure stronghold. Now, it was unknown whether they were alive or dead, but none of them were willing to leave. All of them hoped that the dragon's treasure stronghold would release their sons, so they had been waiting here. Who knew that several years had passed, and they still hadn't released him? Instead, they had been capturing people, but they hadn't released him. Why should I leave? It's just the dragon's treasure stronghold. I'll just uproot it and help you rescue your people. Yi Tianyun smiled. As soon as these words came out, they were shocked and speechless for a long time. They don't have any concept of cultivation, they only know that the dragon's treasure stronghold is very strong, and Yun Tianxing is just one of them. There are many people in the dragon's treasure stronghold, how can a single person fight against them? This young hero, I advise you not to go, the dragon's treasure stronghold is too strong. I heard that there is a strong cultivator who is even more powerful than Yun Tianxing. Wu Lichuan shook his head and sighed. Young hero, although you are strong, can you fight against a group of people? You were able to save us just now, that's enough, we can't let you die for our own sake. The other villagers nodded, they don't think that Yi Tianyun is very strong, so they don't want Yi Tianyun to die. Yi Tianyun turned to look at Lu Minglian and said with a faint smile, Sister Xiaolian, are the people in the dragon's treasure stronghold very strong? Lu Minglian thought for a moment, then immediately shook her head and said, This is not very clear, but is young master really willing to help clean up this dragon's treasure stronghold? Yes, since I'm here, Sister Xiaolian's problem is also my problem, so after I completely clean up this dragon's treasure stronghold, you don't have to worry about the future. Tianyun said indifferently, This is the justice of the heavens, since they have done so much evil, then I will clean them up in the name of the heavens. Ding, successfully accepted Destroy Dragon's Treasure Stronghold quest. After completion, reward 150,000 EXP, 10,000 Crazy Point, 100 Prestige Point. A new side quest popped up. It happens to be the task of destroying Dragon's Treasure Stronghold. Not only can it increase Crazy Point, but also increase Prestige Point by 100. The previous side quest gave him a dozen Prestige Point, but this time it gave him a lot of Prestige Point. Obviously, doing more good deeds, the reward will definitely increase Prestige Point, which he likes very much. After all, the effect of increasing Prestige Point is too much. As long as the value increases, even if he doesn't have luck aura, he will still be very lucky. The village chief and the others looked at each other. Although it is good to help in dealing with Dragon's Treasure Stronghold, but if they die for it, they will feel guilty. Okay, I will go with young master. Lu Minglian was silent for a moment, then nodded. I will also go with you, Kill those bastards. I also want to go, my son was caught. I only have one life now, I will fight them. The other villagers immediately became excited. It is not that they are not afraid of death, but thinking that their son was caught for so long, they have long wanted to fight, but there is no one to lead them. There is no need, I will bring Sister Xiaolian, you guys just wait here for the news. Tianyun said with a smile, everything will go smoothly. I think this dragon's treasure stronghold will not be stronger than the 3 major forces, right? Lu Minglian's body shook, and immediately said excitedly, yes, definitely not as strong as the 3 major forces. The 3 major forces were slaughtered by Tianyun, let alone a trivial dragon's treasure stronghold. Then what are you worried about? The 2 of us are enough. Tianyun said with a smile, of course, I will bring you to help save people, but also to witness the destruction of dragon's treasure stronghold by me. He doesn't need to inquire about the news. He knows that dragon's treasure stronghold is definitely not that strong. If it is stronger than the 3 major forces, it would already be famous. At most 1 or 2 cultivators with good cultivation, it can't be that strong. Yes? Lu Minglian's eyes are shining. Thinking of Tianyun's figure, she nodded vigorously, her eyes are full of worship. Thinking of Tianyun who has been suppressed for a long time, now he has become so strong, she is even more gratified. Looking at their confidence, Wu Lichuan and the others look at each other. They don't know what to say. Xiaolian, are you sure you will be okay? Old Lu walked over with a cane, looking worried. Dad, there is no problem. He is the young master of our Jade Palace. He is very powerful. He can definitely help us eradicate Dragon's treasure stronghold. Let us live in peace forever. Lu Minglian's tone is sonorous, very convincing. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.